Well. Oh, man, so much going on. So much going on. Dallas Cowboys, I mean, we got so much going on today. Man, we had the Osa Odighizuwa signing. Fans, hey, we're going to talk about this a little bit tonight. I want to know where the fans are with this. Robert Simmons, what's going on? Ice Wall in the crib, what's going on? Man, I'm telling you, it is so, man. People are tripping on this thing with Osa Odighizuwa. Dagon's filthy, what's going on? Angie the Rebel Chicks. Uh-oh, wait a minute. I don't see Angie selectively aggressive. I'm wondering if the Cowboys are making a believe out of you, Angie. Let me know tonight. Jared, my man, what's going on? I like the signing, G. Keep him away from Dan Quinn. You know, you talked about this, Jared. Maybe they're being strategic. Cowboys Thanos, what's going on? Gregory Davis, what's going on with you? Angie, I'm gonna see. I don't know if I can break it all down. There's so much going on. Man, this is crazy today. Everybody's been talking about it. And I can tell you this, Angie, the fan base seems to be, I don't know if they're necessarily split, but there are definitely some fans that are not happy about this. I'm gonna tell you why I'm happy about it. I'll tell you why I'm happy about it. And I hope to get some input from you guys also. Angie said, I've been a believer. They doing things different. Jameson Taylor, good to hear from you. Hope everything is well. Kenneth Mackey, Big Mackey in the crib. What's going on? Angie said, I love to be petty. I hear you. It's all good, especially when it comes to the Cowboys. We need some fun, but we need some encouragement. It's all good. I love it. Michael Wright, love the Osa numbers. Facts. Hey, we're going to talk about it. Because those numbers are what I want people to pay attention to. And I'm interested. And we're going to talk about this in a few minutes. We're going to talk about 3 topics tonight. Try to get off of here around 8:30. We're going to talk about 3 topics. We're going to talk about Osa Odighizuwa signing. We're going to talk about the Micah Parsons signing because I'm gonna play y'all something. I released a video on it about an hour ago, but I'm gonna talk about it again. This whole issue about Micah Parsons, is he going to stick to what he said? Because it seems to me so far the Cowboys are sticking to what they said. This is very interesting. Final topic, we're gonna look at CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is saying a few things, and I don't know, maybe some people are taking some things that CeeDee Lamb is saying a little bit, I don't know. Maybe they're taking taking it out of context, or what the case may be, but I think CeeDee Lamb is just as anxious as anybody else, and he wants to bury that last season. Ice Wall said, I'm beginning to feel a tiny bit optimistic. I'm just glad we are making moves early, man. I've been optimistic. I was saying this before anybody. Freddie Morales can attest if he get on here tonight. Freddie was asking me, Freddie said, what make you think the Cowboys gonna do something different? Man, I was saying this I was saying this after Dak got hurt. I said the Cowboys gonna move different. I knew nothing about Brian Schottenheimer. But you could tell by the way they was doing that team. Man, the Cowboys was ready to do something different. And it wasn't Mike McCarthy, regardless of what anyone says. Michael Wright, fans is not happy, can't count. Now I want to see the breakdown on that thing, but I can tell you, I think this was a Cowboy-friendly deal. And I bet you the friendly deal part for the Cowboys comes on the back end. The Osa Odighizuwa friendly part comes on the front end. So the Cowboys are front-loading this deal. I guarantee you they're front-loading it so they can walk away from it if it's not panning out for him. But it's hey, man, I can tell you this. I don't want no more drama. No more drama. Again, so our 3 topics as we get started. Osa Odighizuwa, Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb. Again, welcome everybody. What's going on, my brother Roderick? Appreciate that super chat. You know me, I'm doing my Tuesday thing, man. I've been busy today. I'm doing my Tuesday thing. And the weather, Rod, boy, what is it like over there in Terrell, man? Let me tell you something. Over this way, man, the wind's so bad it blew the power out twice today. So praying we can get through this today. I mean, tonight, I mean, it literally knocked the power out. We were without power till about 11 o'clock today. And then it got knocked out again briefly at around 2 something. Angie said, I learned from Jerry, but Shotty keeps me sane. Hey, I'm going to tell you, Jerry moving different. Jerry moving different. To our church, I've been saying it, bro. I was saying this before I even knew about Brian Schottenheimer's stuff. I mean, I didn't even see that on the horizon. But I just knew they were going to do something different. You could just smell it in the air. They were ready to get rid of that Mike McCarthy stuff. And I think Jerry was going through the motions with Mike McCarthy. I don't think there was no way that Jerry was bringing back Mike McCarthy because, like I told you, you don't sit down with someone giving them a deal they can refuse if you want them to stay with you. If you give them a deal they can refuse and they don't refuse it, well, it's going to be hell for the rest of that deal. It's going to be hell because they're going to really be coming hard at you. But I'm glad we got some things going. Let me get some more greetings in, and then we're going to get into Osa Odighizuwa. What's going on, my man Alex? Good to see you. Nubian King, what's going on? Wow, just re-signed Brock Hoffman. Wow, I can't wait to do a video on that. And I'm going to tell you, let me go and see. Brock Hoffman was definitely one that we needed to do. So we're probably going to expand this a little bit to Brock Hoffman if I can get some information on it. But the Cowboys, guys, I love what they're doing. And the reason why I love what they're doing is they're doing what they need to do before free agency. Now, the key, we got to get Micah Parsons signed. Because getting Micah Parsons signed is going to tell us how we're moving in free agency. Because Micah Parsons frees up more money. Micah Parsons' deal needs to get done. It'll free up more money. So the Cowboys are moving because they need to make these moves. They need to make some free agency moves. And I think the free agency moves they need to make is defensive. If I'm the Cowboys, I would dedicate the entire free agency to defense. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't want none of these retread offensive players. I don't want none of these running backs unless I get Nick Chubb cheap. If I can get Nick Chubb cheap, $2 million, somewhere in there, I'll bring Nick Chubb on. I'm the Cowboys. I'm hearing all this. Devontae Adams. I don't want Devontae Adams. It doesn't mean that Devontae Adams is not a great wide receiver because I think he is. I don't want Devontae Adams. I don't want somebody who's been with another organization and now they're coming over here to get paid and we don't really know how they're going to work into the culture. I don't want Devontae Adams. I don't want Cooper Kupp. Don't want DeAndre Hopkins. I don't want any of the veteran wide receiver. There's only one wide receiver that would literally, 2 wide receivers. One of them, the only way I would want him in town is that we would get him real cheap. One of them is, I would not mind the Cowboys bringing on Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett seems to be a dog to me. If the Cowboys could get Tyler Lockett cheap, bring him in. Bring him on, bring him in. Tyler Lockett is not going to bother me. I'll tell you another one, that if the Cowboys could literally get him, I would actually excuse the Cowboys from getting a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds. If the Cowboys could find a way to get DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf changes the draft again. DK Metcalf allows you, if you were to be able to get DK Metcalf, now I don't know how you make all that work, but DK Metcalf is one of those type of guys you bring in, he's still going to be able to play. He's definitely going to be able to play. So you bring him in, he'll make an immediate impact. He's a big target, and Dak Prescott will do wonders with a target like DK Metcalf because, hey, man, Ted McMillan is a big target, 6'5", 212, 220, somewhere in there. But DK Metcalf, you're talking a whole different category. Whole different category of speed, power, hands. Dak would go crazy with DK Metcalf. Now, I'll take him. Angie, I'm with you. I'll take Adams over Cooper Kupp. Don't want Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp worries me with the injuries that he's had. Timothy Govin said our players weren't the issue. The coaching staff has been upgraded too. It will make a difference. Now, Timothy, I've been saying this from the beginning. Teams start top down. Now, Jerry and Steven, the reason why I'm so impressed, it starts with the owner. Okay, they're the owners. Jerry Jones. What have we been talking about this season? How many owners do we know in the NFL? Me, I could only name like one or two. And Jerry is number one. Robert Kraft is number two. Off the top of my head, they don't just come out because most of them we don't know. But you know what I think is so good this offseason? Jerry ain't talking. For whatever reason, Jerry ain't talking. I like it. And Steven, he's talking, but Steven has never talked as much as Jerry. Steven has never talked as much as Jerry. They're talking to the coaches, and in particular, when they talk to Brian Schottenheimer, I told y'all last week, what Brian does by design is genius to me. He always pushes everything back on his coaching staff, talks about how good they are, what good of a job they're doing, and what they're going to be doing with what he's going to do with this coach and that coach. I love everything he's doing. So, culture, winning starts top down. Owner is acting like a championship owner all of a sudden. Jerry's acting like a championship owner. GM, okay. We're doing some things that we normally don't do from the GM position. We're getting our players signed early. Now, we still got to wait and see with Micah Parsons. He's a huge domino. He's a huge domino because the reason why with the Osa Odighizuwa signing, I still want to see the breakdown of the money. $20 million for Osa Odighizuwa, I still think it's a lot. Some people are saying it's a deal. Whatever it is, the proof is going to be in the pudding now. The deal is signed. There ain't no more use in complaining about it. Now we got to get the proof in the pudding. I think the Cowboys are confident in the defensive coaches they've hired, and they're saying that we're gonna make Osa Odighizuwa into an elite player. We're gonna take him to another level this year. So if they can do this, fine. We may be looking at this $20 million per year deal, which this year he's only counting $6.25 million against the cap, if I'm not mistaken. So this year we're definitely going to be able to get some value out of that deal. Maybe they can turn him into something that, hey, he can get more than 4.5 sacks. Maybe he can make his first Pro Bowl, because I've been seeing some of these things that people have been posting. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to propose to be exactly right on this whole issue because I can see where everyone is apprehensive in some of the things they're saying. And I believe they are making some good points. I mean, how many people get a deal like this? No Pro Bowls? How many people get a deal like this? I mean, when we look at the productivity, we see flashes of the productivity, but we haven't seen consistency to make us go, hey, man, this dude here is a monster. We're not seeing it yet, but he signed now. So now the proof is going to be in the pudding. Jared said the smartest teams not only sign good guys of theirs, but also they keep other guys away from their rivals. Well, this is one of the things they've done, so we got to give it to them. Angie, I would love to still get Myles Garrett. I would love to get him too. I would love to get him. Michael Wright said, don't want Slay Cup or any kick the tire till they get hurt. Facts. Man, I'm telling you, I don't want to bring in Slay either. Slay, you could tell Slay has fell off a lot. DK or Adams, wide receiver, get Dak some weapons. I'll take DK. If it comes to Devontae Adams, man, that price for Devontae Adams got to be so sweet that it's a no-brainer. But I think the Cowboys are going to do well in the draft. Luis Ortiz, what's going on? The cap goes up another $25 million next year. Let's just see if he can continue to play at that or get better. I think they are saying they think he's going to get better. I think they're saying they think they can make him play elite football. Troy Dudley, what's up, my man? Louise, what's up? What's going on? Solomon, y'all, what's going on? Hey, Troy Dudley, I want to see the breakdown, but from everything I can see, it seems like a deal for the Cowboys. It's a team-friendly deal for the Cowboys. Team-friendly deal. And so Osa must have weighed out everything and said, hey, this is what I want to do. Timothy Govin, Gentry is a game changer with a good line or not a monster or not monster running back. Now, it is being reported Ashton Gentry is not going to be there for the Cowboys. That's what's being reported. I don't know who that team is, but I can tell you by everything that they're starting to say. This first round for this first round for everyone is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Man, they're now talking about Shedeur Sanders is sliding down. Now they're saying Shedeur Sanders is sliding. Man, I'm telling you, we're not going to know until this thing really starts rocking. We don't know what's going to happen. That's why for us, our focus first must be free agency. The Cowboys must lock down everything they're going to do as it applies to Micah Parsons, get that deal done. And it looks like they're saying they're going to flip the switch on Dak Prescott's contract. They're not telling us anything we didn't know. Anybody who's been following this channel, y'all already know. We know what these moves are. We know they could flip the CeeDee Lamb. And I was actually surprised they flipped the CeeDee Lamb. They did the CeeDee Lamb switch first. I was a little bit surprised, which it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things what order they do them in. These switches are going to be flipped. What's going on, my man Robert M? Tell me what you think about this Osa Odighizuwa thing. They're going to flip Dak Prescott. They've already got it up here. Athlon Sports is reporting the Cowboys plan a $40 million change in Dak Prescott's contract following CeeDee Lamb move. The Dak Prescott contractual ink can be moved. And in fact, our Cowboys country insider Mike Fisher is predicting we might be moments away from that very thing occurring. It's inevitable. The Dak Prescott contract flip is inevitable because it is the way they're really going to finish making their moves, because I do think the Cowboys will make a couple of big moves in free agency also. Don't expect them to make 5 or 6. I think they'll make a couple. I think they'll make a couple of big ones. I think they're going to make a splash somewhere on this defense, because there's another part of this. We need to look at where the Cowboys might save money. Hey, I'm telling y'all, I don't believe the talk in Trayvon Diggs being traded. But I told y'all this. I said this before people have been reporting this. The way the Cowboys did the Trayvon Diggs deal is masterful. The Trayvon Diggs contract was masterful. It was. It's a masterful contract. The Cowboys have done nothing. They've done nothing. They haven't pushed any of the money down the road. They have fixed Trayvon Diggs' contract to where they can literally walk away from Trayvon Diggs this year. Minimal hit. They got 2 choices. They can take the cap hit up front, eat all $12 million, or they can take the cap hit on the back end, $4 million this year, $8 million next year, and save $10 million in the process. Trayvon Diggs may be another place that the Cowboys may try to save money. It may be another place. And so I'll tell you this, it will not shock me. It will not shock me if the Cowboys maybe take a cornerback high in the draft. It wouldn't surprise me. It will not surprise me if they take a cornerback high in the draft, because I'm telling you, they got to address Trayvon Diggs. Now, they can address it in free agency. Darius Slay is the answer. Stephon Gilmore would have to take a discount, but he would only be a short-term answer. They have to get a long-term answer at cornerback. So we'll see if they'll try to attack cornerback in free agency. Right off the top of my head, y'all let me know what cornerbacks are out there that you know what you think could maybe take Trayvon Diggs' spot. But we're just going to have to accept the facts that I think Trayvon Diggs could be a casualty to also increase the cap space. But again, Dak Prescott. They built into the deal with the Dallas Cowboys quarterback of void years. I've already showed us this. Future empty vessels in which to move cap money as to spread out and lessen the impact of Dak Prescott's salary, which they are probably going to do. They're going to minimize Dak Prescott's cap hit. Here it is, to $50 million. It says it is very simple and it is very clear. At whatever point the Cowboys wish to do so, they can flip the switch on Dak's existing deal without having to ask permission or negotiate, or move his 2025 cap hit from $89.89 million to about $50 to $54 million, and in doing so, we'll gain about $36 to $40 million in cap room. And they're going to do it. There's no doubt about it. And I'm telling y'all, that Dak Prescott deal was made to do this. Says here we had a cautionary note to all of this in acknowledgement of Cowboys Nation skepticism. While not flipping the switch on Dak's deal would leave his cap impact at $89.89 million, a figure so massive it would preclude Dallas from doing much roster building business at all. Stephen Jones' conservatism on these matters justifies your wait and see approach. I'll be hard pressed. I just don't see where they don't do this. I don't see where they don't do this. Even though it's going to push Dak Prescott's contract, depending on how they do it, but it's probably going to push it into 2032. And that's why I'm telling us, I'm telling us Dallas Cowboy fans, man, we want Dak Prescott to be successful on this, man. We want this dude to be successful on this deal. We want him to be successful. Mike McCain, what's going on? He said the good thing about the Cowboys contracts are that are different than everybody else's is that they can flip the switch on the contract without even informing the player that they're going to do so. Yes, sir. And that was one of the reasons why when they were asking Dak Prescott earlier, they said, Dak, if there's a player out there would you be willing to renegotiate your contract? Dak said, I don't have to. Dak said, if the big fish is out there, I don't have to. Because he already understood. He said, we already got this built into the contract. It is. Calais will be a cheap one-year deal, no trade picks, going to Miami, flipping, you get experience and power up front along with someone to tutor young players in old school tricks. Okay, appreciate that, Louise. He said, if you could, would you take Adams for $13 million? Who? You tell me, David, what's going on? I'm struggling with Devontae Adams. I mean, this would be what? 3 teams in 4 years? I mean, from Green Bay to the Raiders to now, to the Jets. Man. And if I'm Devontae Adams, I'll be honest with you. If I'm Devontae Adams, man, I'm going to get my butt somewhere and sit down. I'm not taking no one-year deals. If I'm Devontae Adams, I'm just not taking one-year deals. If I'm Devontae Adams, I'll take a 2-year, $20 million deal before I'll take a 1-year, $13 million deal. I'm just not doing it. Devontae is getting up there in age, and Father Time is undefeated. I don't know how much longer Devontae Adams will be good, but if I'm Devontae Adams, man, I got to get me a contract, get my butt somewhere and sit down. Man, Jason White, I would love for them to bring back Amari Cooper. I'm just not sure with the way things went down with Amari Cooper, he would be back. He would want to come back. Angie, let me tell you. Now, Angie, problem is, with the Myles Garrett thing, you got to go all in on that one. Because you know you're not trading Micah Parsons because that's the reason why you want Myles Garrett. So that means you're keeping keeping Micah Parsons. The Myles Garrett move, it's all in move. You got to give up first. You're going to have to give up a first and probably a next year's second or something to that effect. So that one right there, that's a bona fide move. Now, the Cleveland Browns, they got to do this while the getting is good. Because, again, it doesn't do any good for the Cleveland Browns to do this with Washington or Philly because you're choosing last in the draft. You're last in the draft with Philly. With the Washington Commanders, you're way down there too. So what does it really do you any good to do? The Cowboys is really the one you do if you do it. You get the number 12 pick unless there's somebody else who's willing to give you somebody above Dallas are willing to give you their pick. But the Cowboys are sitting in the catbird seat to me. Gregory Davis, if not Genty, Omarion Hampton. I'm looking at 3 running backs in particular. Genty, Hampton, Travion Henderson. Those are my 3 picks. And I got a feeling Genty's not going to be there. Genty's probably not going to be there. So if Genty's not there, Omarion Hampton or Henderson. Now, with both of these running backs, after looking at Omarion Hampton at the combine, Omarion Hampton is a big back without pads on. He's a big back. He really is. He is built like a workhorse back. And 4.46 ain't too shabby. It's nothing to sneeze at. Maybe you go get you one of the 4.3 guys on the back end. Get you one of those guys on the back end. Because I think they'll be back there in the 5th round. Those running backs or those wide receivers will be back there in the 5th round. You might have to go get you a little bit more speed, but I'm not sneezing at 4.46 either with his power. So Amarion Hampton is not going to hurt my feelings, but Travion Henderson will be a great pickup too. Lewis Bailey, I want a wide receiver more than a running back at first pick, but a running back in the second, linebacker in the third. Lewis Bailey, what's going on? I actually think the Cowboys believe they can get a running back in the third. I believe the Cowboys think they can get a running back in the third. I do. I will not be surprised if it's wide receiver and defense, wide receiver, whether it be defensive tackle, cornerback, because I think they really are going to be looking at cornerback. I think they already know what's going on with Trayvon Diggs. I think the Cowboys are already prepared. The deal itself lets me know they've already prepared themselves for Trayvon Diggs not being here. And guys, we've already seen life without Trayvon Diggs. We've seen it. And honestly, it's not that bad. Life without Trayvon Diggs is just not that bad. I don't think we're going to get prime Trayvon Diggs. The Trayvon Diggs we saw before he got the contract. We're going to have to accept the facts. We're not going to see that Trayvon Diggs again. At least I don't think we are. I wish the best for Trayvon Diggs, and I wish we would see that, but I don't think we're going to see that again. But let's look at this thing real quick. I want to look at the top defensive. Let's see, the defensive tackle pay. So we can kind of see if we can, because the thing is, is how do we gauge this? How do we gauge this? And man, when you look at the deal, they really put Osa Odighizuwa, guys. They kind of put Osa Odighizuwa right at what? The top 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, Osa Odighizuwa, he comes in right at about top 10 in pay, I would assume. He comes in right at around top 10 in pay. They're saying it's a $20 million per year, $80 million. So Osa Odighizuwa, okay, they got him down here now. Okay, they just added him. Osa Odighizuwa, $80 million, $20 million per year, $52 million total guarantees. Wow, look at this. Look at this. This is the breakdown we wanted. Look at the total guarantee. The fully guaranteed, because this is the money you probably need to be looking at. Fully guaranteed. Cowboys got him in at $39 million. Wow. The Cowboys got Osa Odighizuwa fully guaranteed at $39 million. Okay, we got a contract breakdown. This is what I want to see. All right, so this makes sense. So the Cowboys, $6.25 million. That was the number we talked about, right? So what they did was base salary, $1.7 million per year, signing bonus. So this is the money he's getting fully guaranteed right here, $20 million. He's getting that money come hell or high water right there. Now, he has a per game roster bonus. Per game roster bonus. Okay. Guaranteed salary. So they got him cap number $6.25 million. This is a great number right here. 2026. This is where the big part of the deal hits. He's a $20 million cap hit in 2026. He's a $24 million cap hit in 2027. Now, the Cowboys have developed this, have designed this deal to where they can basically walk away from Osa Odighizuwa, it looks like, in 2027. So, in essence, this is another one of these 3-year deals. The Cowboys are able to walk away. Yep, they will be able to walk away from Osa Odighizuwa and not have to pay the rest of that money. So at the end of the day, signing bonus and guaranteed salary, $39 million. All the other money would go away pretty much. All the other money goes away if they find a way to, if they have to wind up cutting Osa Odighizuwa. Just kind of explaining this without knowing exactly all the intricacies, but this is pretty much it. Yeah, the Cowboys, this is a good deal for the Cowboys. I mean, when you look at the way it's structured, it's a good deal for the Cowboys. It really is. It's a $39 million deal. I just wonder how they swung this. And, people start talking about team-friendly deals. A team-friendly deal, such as this one, it makes me wonder, how did he come to the negotiating table? The Cowboys, did they do due diligence and kind of figure out what people were leaning towards paying him? Finding out kind of what contracts were going to look like? Because this is a very team-friendly deal. Very team-friendly deal. It is. And this deal is actually based upon, that Osa Odighizuwa has to perform. Because if Osa Odighizuwa doesn't perform, guaranteed salary, $2.2 million, 2026, $16.7 million, 2027, see you, wouldn't want to be you. They walk right away from it. They walk right away from that deal, and he still gets his signing bonus, and he gets his fully guaranteed $39 million, but he wouldn't get the other, because people were saying it's a $52 million deal, $58 million deal, and I think that's kind of what it says kind of on the front end right here. It's a $52 million deal, but the reality is Shannon Sharpe taught me this. Not personally, but Shannon Sharpe taught me this watching them on television. Shannon Sharpe said people can say anything they want to. Shannon Sharpe said this number over here, $80 million. Shannon Sharpe said don't even focus on that. Shannon Sharpe said don't even focus on that number. Shannon Sharpe said the only number you need to focus on, fully guaranteed money. Because that's the money they're actually getting. The total guaranteed, pretty sure that's based on roster bonuses. That's based upon if he's on the team still. And you'll notice per game roster bonuses, even though those are even only $2 million, he only misses $1 million on that. But I'm sure when you break this thing all the way down, and I think, of course, some of this other stuff is in here, if he lasts past the $39 million, the Cowboys have literally put an escape hatch in here. They have literally put an escape hatch in here to get out of Osa Odighizuwa's deal. I'll be interested to see if a capologist really breaks this down any further. But for the grand scheme of things, I'm happy with the deal. Now I've seen the breakdown. Cowboys can get out of Osa Odighizuwa's deal extremely easy from everything I'm seeing. Chanel, man, I'm glad you didn't leave social media. I'm glad you didn't leave social media. Chanel said, I'm just saying what's good, G. I will not be commenting. Very disappointed in how we handle contracts and how we trade players as to production and overall how they affect the outcome of the actual games. Okay, Chanel. So I'm asking you to go against what you said. Now that you see it here on the screen, the actual breakdown of the contract, let me know how you feel about the contract now. Because from all intents and purposes, it's a $39 million deal. And really, you think about it, Chanel, it's a prove-it deal. 2025, he bet up. I'm telling you, this contract to me is designed to where they've incentivized Osa Odighizuwa to ball out. And the year they're incentivizing him to ball out is 25 and 26. Hey, you better ball out in 25 and 26. You better absolutely ball out in 25 and 26 because 27 is it. 2027 is it. And of course, it looks like right here, injury guarantee vest to full guarantee. Now, notice what that is. That's the 2027 season. This deal is literally devised to where the Cowboys, if they want to, they will walk away from Osa Odighizuwa in 2026. And the only thing he gets is $39 million. That's all he gets. So let's think about what that means. If I'm a math man, that's 2 years, $18 million per year. I'm done. Isn't that kind of what we were looking at? We were saying we wouldn't pay him $20 million a year. Didn't want to pay him 20. Definitely didn't want to pay him 22. Look how the deal is set up. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but this deal seems to be set up to where the Cowboys walk away 2026 and just pay him $39 million, 2 years. And I like how they did this. Tell me what you think, Chanel. I know you said you didn't want to comment, but tell me what you think. I like how the Cowboys did this and Osa Odighizuwa's agent did this for both Dallas and Osa Odighizuwa. The Cowboys get him at $18 million per season, 2 years, which is kind of around, which I kind of thought he should have been around 15 if they did it last year. Okay, you kind of messed around, so you had to do this deal. Okay, you got him 2 years, $18 million each. If the Cowboys say thanks but no thanks, they walk away from Osa Odighizuwa. Osa Odighizuwa gets to walk away and say, hey, I'm only 28 years old. I'm 28 years old. I'll go to another team. And see if I can get my career going again. Or the Cowboys can say, thanks but no thanks. $39 million. Void years built into the contract. Maybe we'll kick a few of your dollars down in the void years on your way out the door. See you when want to be you. So this deal, for all intents and purposes, it's exactly what it says it is. It is a $39 million fully guaranteed deal, and it looks like that is only for 2 years. Tell me what you think down there, Chanel, if you don't mind. Because it looks like if we don't want to, we don't have to overpay for Osa Odighizuwa. So in other words, Osa Odighizuwa, if he balls out, boom, money. If he's mediocre, Cowboys don't like what they see, okay, thanks but no thanks. This is why I do believe the Cowboys will go in this draft and get them a defensive tackle. I do. I think they'll get them a defensive tackle, and I call that good business. You fix this deal to where it doesn't hurt you on the back end. Jason White, Najee Harris, and Nick Chubb. If we're going to keep Najee Harris, bring back Rico Dowdle. Jair Alexander would be a nice addition, okay? Chanel, here we go. Let's see. Some of the top free agent cornerbacks include Kavarius Ward. Yeah, for real. And you know what? Kavarius Ward, DJ Reed, Byron Murphy. These are guys that you can sign for 3 years. These are 3-year guys. You can get them on a 3-year deal. I would definitely be looking at this because I'm going to just tell you the truth. Even if Trayvon Diggs does come back, I would rather them sign a cornerback for sure. I would. Packers are willing to trade Jair. Yes, sir. I know. Yeah, they're shopping him. Lewis Bailey, all of these names to replace Trayvon Diggs. No, I'd rather have Diggs. Lewis Bailey, I think something is wrong with Diggs, and I think they know it. I think they absolutely know it. And I do say this. If the Cowboys really want to, the Diggs contract is set up, though, to walk away from, but I think Diggs needs more time. They're talking about, again, Diggs going to be back, I think, by training camp. Man, Diggs need to sit down. They really need to give this man time to heal and rehab. They really do. Jair Alexander would be a major pickup. I agree. You get Jair Alexander, you don't even have to go in the draft. He's probably going to be a 3-year guy. Solomon Jernigan, I don't know. Some people don't want to see Dak successful. Man, hey, Solomon, I don't understand. I'm paying the man $231 million, man. I want him to be I want him to be successful. Todd Church, he said, I'm still signing Javon Kinlaw. Yes, sir. I would see if we could get that deal done. I'm with you. Especially if you can get it done for really good money. Jason said, I still like Diggs. But whether they keep him or not, we still need solid corners behind him. Yep, because both of them got injured. You need some cornerback depth. You really do. Mike McCain said he wouldn't want Devontae Adams. He's a great receiver, as many teams has been on. He's starting to look like Brandon. Yes. Man. That's why, man, I'm like, man, I don't know about Devontae Adams, man. I just can't with Devontae Adams. I just can't. I'm struggling with that. Solomon said Adams was trying to get out of the Raiders, went to the Jets, and went there without a quarterback. Man, yeah. And then they got Aaron Rodgers and thought that was going to be something. It turned out to be nothing. Terrible. Poobie D, what's going on? He said we can't get Miles, but Devontae Adams, man, Miles is what you call a swing at the fence. He'll swing for the fence on Miles. So, yeah, he's going to be hard to get, especially with the Cleveland Browns already saying they're not going to trade him. And I'll tell you this, Poobie D. I would rather the Cleveland Browns keep him. Because I definitely don't want him being traded to any team in NFC. Todd Church, he still was 1,000 yards and ATD Adams. Yeah. Now, he got skill. I'm just worried about the mentality. What is he? Man, I'm struggling with Devontae Adams. But I'm pretty sure if the Cowboys can get him cheap, they'll bring him in. Angie, I know you like the Ohio State boys. I'm with you. TreVeyon Henderson reminds me of one Zeke Elliott with a lot more speed. Yeah, Miles going to cost some much. He's going to cost some money. He's definitely going to cost some money. Calais signed a year, $2 million deal, vet minimum, guaranteed with Miami last year. Give him 3, and he runs from Miami to our locker room. Probably does for that. Probably was. Cam Scatbo. What's going on, Von Hopkins? Let's see. Whoever we get at wide receiver needs to be able to separate like opposing wide receivers do. All right, so let me finish up with Osa Odighizuwa real quick. So what are y'all thoughts on Osa Odighizuwa? Y'all cool with the deal? Because now that I'm getting a breakdown of the deal, and I really would like for my man Chanel to comment on, now that we got the breakdown of the deal, it looks like, no, it don't look like. We put this man on a very good deal from this perspective. This is only a $39 million deal. The Cowboys get to walk away from Osa Odighizuwa in 2026. And as a matter of fact, they could probably go back to the table and say, you're not really playing good. We're either going to cut you or you rework this deal. The Cowboys got him on a 2-year deal. They really did. And I think they did both of them. The way they worked this deal, they did both of them a favor. I think they did both of them a favor. So they don't have to commit to each other long term. And while we're on wide receivers, I'm going to go. We'll tackle Micah Parsons last. We're gonna flip to something that CeeDee Lamb said today, and I think it's very telling that CeeDee Lamb. Whoo, man, let me tell you, man, I gotta give this dude CeeDee Lamb credit, man. CeeDee Lamb is telling the Cowboys what he wants, and the reason why I like how he's doing it, because for me, it's like CeeDee Lamb is telling from his perspective what he wants. And I'm gonna show you something that he's doing. I'm just gonna give CeeDee Lamb. I will give my man CeeDee Lamb credit for this. I could be totally wrong on this, but I'm gonna just show you what CeeDee Lamb said, and I think you're going to probably agree with what I'm telling you. What CeeDee Lamb is saying where he wants to go. But again, y'all tell me, what do y'all think about the deal now with this man Osa Odighizuwa? Because I'm telling you, it looks like we got him on a 2-year deal, $18 million, which is kind of how we were saying we didn't want to pay him $20 million. Well, it's actually an $18 million deal. It is. It's an $18 million deal. An $18 million deal guaranteed. Freddie, my man, what's going on from El Paso? Don't know, be the beast. It's basically a 2-year deal. Yeah. I'm telling you, don't know. That's exactly what it is. It's a 2-year deal. Now that I've seen it, because that's what I said when I made my video, I want to see the breakdown. So now 2 things got settled for me. One, guess what? We're not going to have the Osa Odighizuwa drama going all the way through training camp. We don't have to worry about that nonsense. We don't have to worry about when they're going to sign Osa. Oh, Osa on the tag. We don't have to worry about that talk. Osa now, as of today, Osa is a thing of the past. We don't even have to argue about it no more. Now he's signed. Hey, number two, we didn't overpay the way I thought we were going to overpay. Because when they start talking about this $22 million stuff, man, I was like, that's crazy work. $22 million, I was like, man, Osa Odighizuwa going to have to walk. $18 million. 2-year deal, $18 million. Team option. This is kind of what you wanted. Slightly overpay, but we didn't just tremendously overpay. Chanel, he says it's a good deal, but I could have constructed a I love it, Chanel. He said it's a good deal. He said I could have constructed a cheaper deal. I love it. He said Mickton Williams deal at a cheaper rate and constructed the same escape clause for $21 million. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what? I wonder if some of this maybe is Micah Parsons too. Maybe Michael wanted to play beside Osa Odighizuwa. I wonder. Oak Cliff Rockefeller, love that name. What's going on? Yeah, not a bad deal. Brandon Mahoney, what's going on? I don't think it's a bad deal. Freddie, man, let me tell you, this wind down here in Texas right now, man, I feel like the big bad wolf is outside saying I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. This thing so strong. Alabaster Dragon, what's going on? Parsons asking Cats about maybe taking a little less to help getting help in free agency. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Because I'm wondering, are the Cowboys going to hold Micah Parsons to his own words? Phino Hall, what's going on? He says, you know what? I don't think there's no chance yet unless the Cleveland Browns come down off of what they're offering for, asking for one Myles Garrett, which the reality is they're not asking nothing for Myles Garrett. They've already said they're not trading him. But Myles Garrett has come back with a counter move. He slammed the door. He said no talk about an extension. So he's put the Cleveland Browns in a chokehold. They better get something from Myles Garrett while they can. Because if not, Myles Garrett will go through the motions. He'll play well. He'll go through the motions. And he'll walk away in 2 years. And he's a physical specimen. I think he'll still be in great shape. Dono said Milton Williams not as good as Osa, though. Okay. Let's see here. Milton Williams is 26 and a better defensive tackle. Whoa, I see you. Okay. Chanel said, okay, so Chanel said he ain't tripping either now that he's kind of seen the deal. I think that's kind of where you are, right, Chanel? Because when I heard the deal, I was kind of like, wow, I want to see how it breaks down before I start tripping. Now that I've seen how it's broken down, it's a 2-year deal. Carson can only get better. How bad this rookie year was, hopefully, but he won't be a starter. Yeah, the Cowboys got a lot of question marks from guys coming back from injuries, which I think they might be pretty good. Osa's in top 5. Yeah, I think he's number 3, right? Pass rush win rate. Yeah. Don't know the best. Let me tell you about Osa Odighizuwa, at least what I see with Osa Odighizuwa. This defense needs 2 more pieces. Maybe they get 1 piece this year. Maybe they can get 2, depending upon what they do in free agency. They need 2 pieces. Mozzie Smith has got to make a super big step this year. They need 2 more pieces because I think that Osa Odighizuwa is the type of defensive tackle that is better with better pieces around him. I think he's better with better pieces around him. I also think if there's better pieces around him, he can help those pieces be dominant. Because if he can get pressure, then those who can truly get to the quarterback can get there even better because you put a defense or an offensive line in a position to pick your poison. Because right now our poison is only Micah Parsons. And people feel like they can take Osa Odighizuwa maybe on a one-on-one sometimes. So Micah Parsons is the person that we're double teaming that people are double teaming all the time. So the Cowboys have got to create a situation to what other player can you make a team double team? Because if you're telling me all they have to do is double team Micah and then single block Osa Odighizuwa, well, we're losing. We're not going to get the results we're after. We got to get another piece to where now a defense says, okay, now we got a problem. Now we got two guys we got to try to double. And if we can't double both of them, we got to double one of them depending upon which direction we're going, even though we still got to worry about the other one. Oh, and now we still have to worry about Osa Odighizuwa. They need another player with Osa Odighizuwa. Michael's going to need another player. Osa Odighizuwa isn't enough. We've already seen this. They need another player. And maybe they go get it in free agency. Maybe they still bring in, because I still think they need to go get a defensive tackle in free agency. I still think they need to do that and go get you a defensive tackle in the draft. This defensive tackle thing, now that we're kind of looking at it even more intense than probably some of us have in years, they need to build player development at defensive tackle. Because from everything now we're hearing, it takes 2 to 3 years for these guys to blossom. So maybe we need to start getting them in the building early and not throwing them in the situations to where they have to play so early. Maybe we put them in situations where they're a part of a rotation. Get their feet wet. Get their technique down. And really develop them. And then when it's time to say, okay, the guy who's in front of you, now you're going to be the guy in front, we keep a cycle going. But they've got to get some depth going to defensive line, because last year showed us, man, the moment we get hurt, we're done. Superstar status, I feel you on this. He said free agency where average players get paid like good players and good players get paid like great players. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Diggs' career's over. It's his knee, bone on bone. That's what they're saying, Freddie. I think it's the same, too. Diggs and Overshown need to take the year off. Man, superstar. Nothing but facts. I'm with you. I think they need to take the year off. I do. Trade for DK Metcalf. It's the one move. He's the one wide receiver. If they got him, I wouldn't even be tripping. I wouldn't even trip. And as a matter of fact, if they got DK Metcalf, go on the back end. I mean, what did we see? 10 receivers running sub 4.4s? Go on the back end and get one of those wide receivers and develop them. My man Chanel, he says, Diggs, a cornerback the Dallas Cowboys, had a chondral bone graft surgery on his left knee, January 2025. Boy, Chanel dropping the detailed facts. A chondral bone graft. That's what I was hearing. I didn't know the name of it, but anytime I start hearing bone grafts and stuff like that, I'm already out. A chondral bone graft surgery on his left knee in January 2025. This procedure involves transplanting bone tissue into the knee to stimulate growth and help Diggs. Chanel, what do you think? Tell me what you think the chances are of him coming back. I think if he comes back, he needs to sit out a whole year. But they're talking about he's going to be ready. I would rather him sit down for a whole year. Mr. J, you like Cooper Kupp? He says trade for Cooper Kupp and draft Ohio State wide receiver. Cooper Kupp price too high for me. Man, Cooper Kupp got to come off that. He really does. Now, if he can get that money down, I say it might be a discussion. Superstar status, whole year, no half year, maybe. Yeah, you talking about Trayvon Diggs? Let's see. Hope the Browns keep Miles. If we can't get, Gregory, I'm telling you. Man, I'm saying the same thing, man. I do not want them to trade him to anybody else if the Cowboys can't get it. But, Gregory, to me, we are the best option for the Cleveland Browns. They will literally have almost 2 top 10 picks. They'll be at number 12. So I don't see where trading to the Eagles benefit them. You're on the back end of the draft. Now I'm hearing, and I haven't looked at it, I'm hearing that the Eagles have the toughest. They're saying the Eagles' schedule is brutal this year. But let me tell y'all about these schedules. These schedules, we have to take those with a grain of salt. And the reason why we have to take those schedules with a grain of salt is because those schedules do not include injuries. Those schedules do not include draft picks. Those schedules do not include free agency pickups. And in the case of the Cowboys, It doesn't include new coach being picked up, great coaching staff being hired, owner, GM doing things differently. It doesn't include any of those things. So at face value, a lot of times we look at those schedules and we're looking at the teams based on what they did last year. I can tell you unequivocally, this team will be better than last year if Dak Prescott stays healthy. That's all. That's the last thing. The last thing we need is just, okay, Dak stays healthy. Everything falls into place. Whenever Dak is healthy, we're making the playoffs. Whenever Dak is healthy, double-digit wins. Whenever Dak is healthy, that's going to be the key. Dak Prescott has got to stay healthy. If Dak Prescott stays healthy, all bets are off on anything anybody is saying about the schedule. I believe the Cowboys still get double-digit wins, even if it's 10. The Cowboys are still going to be in this thing. Yeah, we talked about Matthew Golden, man. That boy there is a beast. Robert E., I disagree. Devontae needs to quit following him. Oh, man. I'm telling you, man, I said he need to get his butt somewhere and sit down. Get somewhere and sit down. If I'm Devontae Adams, I'm not about to become a mercenary. I'm not. If I'm Devontae Adams, I'll tell you what I would do. Devontae Adams has made his money in this league. Man, if I'm Devontae Adams, bro, it is time for you to start looking for a contender. Find you a team that you believe is 1 to 2 years away from the Super Bowl. Sign with that team on a 3-year deal, 2 years guaranteed. If you can't even try to pull off a 4-year deal, 3 years guaranteed, and man, you take somewhere around, I'll take $7-8 million a year. I'll take $7-8 million a year. If I was him, I would take I'd take a 4-year, $21 million deal, guaranteed. $25 million, guaranteed. I would take it, understanding it's a 3-year deal. Devontae Adams got to get somewhere and get settled in. Because if not, man, it's going to be such a waste of career for a great wide receiver. Just pitiful. But while we're talking about it, let me go down some more comments, and then I'm gonna show you what CeeDee Lamb said while we're talking about wide receivers. Disco Wood from Philadelphia Cowboys, fan for life. Good job and good information. I'm a Christian. I appreciate you impacting the faith experience along with all the information you're providing. Appreciate you, Mike Wood. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. We try to keep it clean for Christ. You know how we say it, man. We say faith, family, football. Some people say football first, but we say faith, family, football for sure. For sure. Yes, sir. Malcolm Sykes, he said, I'm good with the OC. Yeah, the deal is good. It's a win-win, Greg. If he don't pan out, guess what? We can just cut it. We can just cut him. We can cut him. Simple as that. My man P Funk, what's going on? Ice Wall Cowboy, he says, hey, it's just not a bad deal. In my honest, I like it. Yeah. Now that I done seen the breakdown, Ice Wall, hey, I'm good. I'm good. Man, Chanel, the Osa Odighizuwa stat line is literally insane. 3rd in quarterback pressures, only 4.5 sacks. His run stop percentage, it's like at 50%. Now, again, I think the Cowboys are looking at this like we got better defensive coaches, and I think they feel like, Chanel, they're going to be able to get more out of Osa Odighizuwa. But I also think they're saying, and if we don't, hey, bro, we're going to give you an opportunity to go somewhere else, and we're going to pay you 2 years, $18 million. So, yeah, it's a win-win deal, but yeah, I get you. He's not a better player than Milton Williams. Pressures, and you don't affect the game in a positive way means nothing. Yeah, I feel what you're saying right there, Chanel. My girl Nisi, what's going on? Good to see you. What you think about that Osa Odighizuwa thing? Let me know in the chat. Keith Beecham. I've already said it. He gave us a discount. It's a team-friendly deal. No, I don't know, maybe you're saying to some of the guys in the chat, but no, it's a team-friendly deal. I'm definitely not tripping on it. No, I'm good. Now that I've seen the breakdown of the deal, it's basically a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option. That's all it is. The Cowboys don't have to overpay if they don't want to on this deal. $18 million. It's kind of in between of kind of where I was like 15, yes, 20, no. It's in between. It's an $18 million deal. It's good for Osa Odighizuwa. I like what they did. He'll be 29 years old if they decide to cut bait, or 28, really. He'll be 28 if they decide to cut loose from him. And if he's performing, he'll still be able to go and get him a deal in this league. And the Cowboys get to walk away from him with minimal cap hit. It's a win-win. Both sides won on this. Chanel, yeah, somebody else was dropping these. Boy, they was dropping these same facts, man. You said, Chanel said, Osa in 3 playoff games had 0 sacks. Woo! Man, let me tell you, Chanel, and I don't know if it was you or somebody else I was reading in the comments today on the video. Boy, somebody said something even crazier. They was like, how do you get a deal like this with no Pro Bowls? I mean, now, I do think that the market dictated some of this, because defensive tackle right now is at a premium. It's at a premium. And like Superstar said, it's where good players get paid like great players. Average players get paid like good players. The market, and especially the Philadelphia Eagles, have everybody on a full court press trying to get a defensive line. And so if you can get even an okay, and I don't even know okay, if you can get a defensive tackle, some of these people feel 3 technique defensive tackle, rush the passer, they're feeling like, man, if we can get that on our defensive line, we can do something. So I see where a lot of these teams are going. Get right to get left. What's going on? Appreciate the super chat. Get right to get left. He said, I'm actually good with the Osa payday. Very team-friendly deal. It is. It is. Best player available in the draft. Build depth and fill holes via free agency. Keep it up, G. Yeah, I mean, they can't stop right here, get right or get left. I think this is where the Cowboys make mistakes, and I think they're going to maybe make good on this year. Still go in the draft and get a defensive tackle. Still go get one. Still go get a defensive tackle. Get you a defensive tackle in development. These guys, if people have been saying, they take so long to really get them to blossom. So if it takes that long, go ahead and get you one. I mean, go ahead and get you one. Use Osa Odighizuwa as a placeholder. Go in that draft and get you one. Get you one. All right, let me read here. Top Gunner. And then I'm gonna get to Nisi. Top Gunner. Looks like a win-win for both sides. It is. It is. Could have been a little cheaper. Yep, I agree. $15 million. But they got him in between rather than 20. Got him at 15. Still doesn't solve stopping the run. Yep. Need another defensive tackle in the draft of free agency. And because, Top Gunner, what is Mozzie going to do this year? Mozzie is going to be key in this. Cowboys are high on Mozzie Smith. For whatever reason, they got plans for him, and they are high on Mozzie Smith, and they're thinking they can turn him into an elite player. We're going to see. Nisi, I'm glad the deal is done, and DQ can... She said, I'm glad the deal is done. Dead quick, go sit down, leave Osa alone. Nisi, I'm going to tell you something. We only heard about the Carolina Panthers and the 49ers. I fully believe that Dan Quinn was going to enter the chat. If they'd have put Osa Odighizuwa out there, Dan Quinn probably would have entered the chat. He would have. So, again, we alleviated some drama. Again, alleviated some drama. 2-year deal. It's done. Now we can move on to Micah Parsons. And, again, while we're talking about wide receivers, let's move on to what CeeDee Lamb said, and I find this to be very interesting. Yeah, Keek, I was looking for it. I'm going to try to, man, I can't wait to do something on this tonight about Brock Hoffman. Man, I'm tell y'all something. I don't know why. I really like Brock Hoffman. I really like Brock Hoffman, man. I do. I like Brock Hoffman. And if they got him at the right price, it's really going to be good. It is really going to be good. So I'm very excited about Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman has an opportunity to really get himself a big deal. Now let's go to what CeeDee Lamb said. Man, this thing that CeeDee Lamb says tells you where his mindset is. Excuse me. And I like it. I like it. CeeDee Lamb. So, CeeDee Lamb decides to throw out. CeeDee Lamb throws out who he likes at wide receiver. And this is going to blow y'all mind. But it's funny to me. I understand what he's doing. Taco Beast, what's going on? Boy, you right on time. Man, appreciate that super chat. Taco Beast, I appreciate Taco Beast. He is going to be our local wide receiver expert right when we get on the wide receiver topic. Taco B said all that money could have been used for a free agent cornerback, safety, or offensive tackle as insurance for Guyton or Steele. Chauncey Golston had more sacks than Osa. Shaking my head. Okay, I love that. I love that take. There are some people, Taco, they're in that same boat with you. Our man Chanel on here, boy, he a fact dropper too, and he is not really happy with the Osa Odighizuwa deal either. And for me, again, $18 million is kind of in between, probably where we wanted it. Very team-friendly deal, though. 2-year deal. It's a prove-it deal for Osa Odighizuwa. He proves it. They probably rework that deal, or they kick it down into the void years, or he doesn't do well. Okay, $39 million out the window. But again, 2-year deal at the most. 2-year deal at the most. Appreciate that super chat. Taco Beast, tell me what your thought process is on this. Y'all tell me what your thought process is. So CeeDee Lamb gives his opinion on the wide receivers, or at least this is kind of what it seems like. He's giving his opinion on wide receivers he would not mind seeing in Dallas, because he put a tweet out today that's going viral. CeeDee Lamb said, this is not good enough. We need more help. You know what he's saying? I need another wide receiver. That's what CeeDee Lamb is saying. I need another wide receiver opposite of me. So we're going to see if the Cowboys are going to appease their 3 main pillars. And the 3 main pillars are Dak, CeeDee, and Micah. So, Micah Parsons. Could Osa Odighizuwa, and I'm wondering if he want to bring D-Law back, because D-Law told him shut the F up. So does he want to bring back D-Law? Who do they get for Micah Parsons in free agency? Will they get another pass rusher to complement Micah Parsons? And I'm telling y'all, I'm just throwing this out there again. Man, I really do want the Cowboys to go get Chase Young. I would love for them to kick the tires on Chase Young. I think they can get him at a very good price. And then you also you go in the draft. You go in the draft and get you a defensive end also. And again, who is available in free agency that could really be got at a good price? Maybe day 2, that could be a compliment to a compliment to Micah Parsons. Dak Prescott, what they're going to do for Dak Prescott is going to be another wide receiver and a run game, and we'll see how they construct the offensive line. But CeeDee Lamb also knows he needs a complimentary wide receiver. It says here, reports have thrown out free agency names like Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf. The only one that I legitimately would want to see in Dallas is DK Metcalf, because I think DK Metcalf is a different type of wide receiver, size, speed, hands. I think him and Dak Prescott would make a great match. And then, of course, there's Devontae Adams' name is being thrown out there. DK Metcalf is the only one that stands out to me. But let me show you who CeeDee Lamb said. Tell me if you're getting the same vibes I'm getting. Says, however, this draft's receiver class is deep, featuring multiple names that have the attention of Lamb. Lamb said, I like a lot of them, actually. Lamb said in an interview with RC.org. There's a bunch of pieces that stood out. T. McMillan, Luther Burden III, Emeka Egbuka, that's the top for me. Tez Johnson from Oregon. So, I want y'all to see at least what I see CeeDee Lamb is saying. I'm the top dog receiver. I'm the top dog receiver. We don't need Cooper Kupp. I'm the top dog. We don't need Stephon Diggs. I'm the top dog. DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams. I'm the top dog. I don't want y'all to bring in, and I could be wrong, but I noticed he's mentioning the rookies. I don't want you bringing in one of those guys. I'm the top dog. I don't think CeeDee Lamb wanted to get rid of Amari Cooper, but I don't think CeeDee Lamb minded the Cowboys getting rid of Amari Cooper because it catapulted him into the number one receiver. CeeDee Lamb, y'all remember when he was coming out of college? Some of us may not remember. Y'all remember what they were saying? CeeDee Lamb is not a number one receiver. A lot of people were saying he was not a number one receiver. They were saying he's a number two. They were saying he's a slot guy, but they were saying he was too small to be a number one receiver. Well, CeeDee Lamb is a number one receiver now. And this was one of the reasons why I didn't think Devontae Adams would match up with CeeDee Lamb last year because Devontae Adams is an alpha receiver to me. He's an alpha receiver. I don't know. I mean, kind of based on what we saw with the Jets, maybe some people are questioning that. I do think DK Metcalf. Hey, man, I got CeeDee Lamb top 3, but boy, you mess around and bring DK Metcalf to Dallas. Those targets for CeeDee Lamb are going way down because I am telling you, I guarantee you, DK Metcalf hit this squad and Dak Prescott got a brand new connection. I guarantee you Dak Prescott would be feeding DK Metcalf. Because one thing about Dak likes to throw to the receiver that is open. I think what has hindered Dak the last 2 years is being overly CeeDee Lamb dependent. Overly dependent. He's been the only option in most cases. And Dak Prescott put in his mind that even when he's seeing the field the right way, he still throws it against what he sees in his mind. I think that's what he's been doing. He's been force-feeding CeeDee Lamb. DK Metcalf would change life for Dak Prescott. But CeeDee Lamb, I think, is saying something, and I think he's making a statement. I'm the number one receiver. I don't need you to bring in another number one. I need you to bring in a number 2. Now, he probably wouldn't mind if they brought in those guys, but I think he's saying what he's saying. I like the young guys. He gets to be the number 1. He gets to be the tutor. He gets to be the receiver they're looking up to. The Cowboys have invested into a new triplets. And maybe that changes depending upon who we get at running back. But right now, the triplets on this team, CeeDee Lamb, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. Now, we mess around and get Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson. It'll be Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Travion Henderson on offense. That'll be the triplets because they'll be putting up the points. But right now, as it stands, we have a defensive player on those triplets. And CeeDee Lamb is kind of like staking his territory, saying, I'm the number 1. I'm the number 1. Bring in one of those young guys. Let them learn under me. Let them come up under me. Let them be the complimentary receiver to me. Because the reality is, y'all, when Amari Cooper touched down in Dallas, CeeDee Lamb was the complimentary receiver to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was not the complimentary receiver to CeeDee Lamb. Man, that dude Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott. Let me tell you something. CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott in 2023 was crazy. But Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott was like, it was cerebral. Dak Prescott with Amari Cooper was literally just throwing the spots. He was just throwing the spots because he knew CeeDee Lamb was going to be there. I'm sorry, Amari Cooper was going to be there. Dak could throw to Amari Cooper, literally to a spot. And he knew because he was such a precise route runner. He was going to be there. And Amari Cooper, a lot of people don't understand something about Amari Cooper. Talk about him if we want to. This man has strung together 1,000 yard season after another one. He's faster than most people understand. He's stronger than most people think. Very muscular guy, very strong, and a very crispy route runner. Problem with Amari Cooper, it seems like from time to time, if you don't get him involved, and a lot of these wide receivers are like this, you don't get him involved early, it's like maybe he checks out. He's less likely to play hurt. I think that kind of got to some of the coaches. So there's a lot of things when you talk about Amari Cooper, but when Amari Cooper was here, CeeDee was the complimentary receiver. CeeDee's saying, now it's my time to shine. I'm the primary receiver. I need y'all to get me a complimentary receiver. Go in the draft and get him. Go in the draft and get him. T. McMillan would ease some of the pressure off of me. Luther Burden III. Man, I'm going to tell you, the more I look at Luther Burden III, the more I'm saying this guy reminds me somewhat of Dez Bryant. I see some of the same tenacity in Luther Burden III. Body type. The way he runs when he gets the ball in his hand, he seems to run somewhat angry. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Some of y'all seen him more than me. He seems to run angry. Luther Burden III, now I do realize Luther Burden III would be a great pick for the Cowboys, especially if you're talking about complimentary. I am in love. I'm in love, and I mean that in the, of course, the most manly way. I'm absolutely in love with Micah Parsons. Man, I'm telling you, with these Ohio State boys, just give me two of them. Just go ahead and give me two. Give me Micah Parsons and go ahead and give me Travion Henderson. Hey, I'm good. I'm good. If I'm the Cow, I'm good. But CeeDee Lamb, I think, is making a statement. I do. I think he's making a statement. I'm the big dog now. I'm the big dog. I need a complimentary receiver. I don't need Davante Adams. I don't think he'd speak out and say, I don't want Davante Adams. But y'all think about this. This happens to us in life, on jobs and all kinds of things, that when we get our time to shine, we want our time to shine. We do. We want our time to shine. We used to be the complimentary piece. Now we the primary piece. Now get me the complimentary pieces that help me be a better primary piece. Y'all tell me what you think. But I think this boy CeeDee Lamb is saying something. I do. I think CeeDee Lamb is telling us. CeeDee Lamb is saying, man, I'm the man now. I'm the man up in this piece. I don't want you to bring me no veteran wide receiver. No, I'm the veteran now. I'm the veteran. I was the wide receiver that was one of the top 2 wide receivers in this league. That's me. Do what they did for Justin Jefferson. Go get me a complimentary. Taco Beast, tell me what you think on that. Don't know. Rotational is the one who comes in and gives the starter, a.k.a. the player who plays more snaps a break. We can develop them like that for sure. Superstar. And it would be wise to re-sign Tyler Smith this time around. Oh, man. Sign him now. Sign him now. And I'm going to tell you somebody else we need to sign now. I've already talked about it early in the season. The Cowboys need to sign Brandon Aubrey now. They need to sign him now. Brandon Aubrey's going to be a problem. Don't know. Tell me what you think on this wide receiver thing. Timothy Govin, what's going on? Hey, G, what would it cost Dallas trading for DK Metcalf? A lot. I guarantee you. They're going to probably want a first-round draft pick for DK Metcalf. I'd be shocked if it's anything less. DK is that good. Yeah, DK is that good. Let me go down some in the chat here. Let me see. Man, Taco, I want Chase Young bad. I want Chase Young bad. Lewis Bailey, yes, I want Chase Young bad. And the reason why I want Chase Young bad is I think we get Chase Young at a good price and probably develop this guy where no one else has been able to do. Robert M., this is where doing nothing last year causes problems. It did, because you don't recover from a lack of improving the team in 1 year. Remember, Robert M., you've heard me say it first. 2026, the Cowboys are going for the chip. Taco Beast, that Giants pass rusher and Raiders pass rusher, Garrison, would be a solid pass rusher too. Yeah, the Cowboys are going to have to get Micah Parsons another pass rusher, no doubt. Lewis, yeah, getting DK equals number one offense, and I do. And you know what? I also think it creates an issue to where, man, I just think the connection with DK and Dak would be crazy, and it might push. I don't know if it would push Michael. I'm not saying it would push him to number 2, but it would be tough. It would be tough. Roger Lewis Sr., but if I'm Dak, I want those problems. Our Cowboys need the balance to get us back in the Super Bowl. My thinking, help for Rico, help on the O-line, help on the D-line, and help for CeeDee, and help the secondary. Now, I do believe Rico Dowdle is done. I do not think the Cowboys are bringing back Rico Dowdle. Taco, CeeDee is not really a true number 1. Now, Taco Beast, this was what people were saying about CeeDee Lamb coming out of college. Everybody was saying this. Taco says, honestly, CeeDee is not a real true number 1. Cowboy fans don't like hearing that. My man Taco said, he said, I'm a wide receiver expert. He said, I'm a wide receiver expert. Hey, a lot of people were saying that. Taco B's too small and too slow. If you're talking about CeeDee Lamb, let me see. If you're talking about CeeDee Lamb, Angie used to call him a supermodel. So, Wilson, what's going on? He said, we'll make an Osa something that he's not. We're going to see. He in now, so we're going to see what he is. Troy said 1 game means nothing. Osa's not the problem on the D-line. Dallas has to get better, play at D-end. Mike only rushes with no run support. D-Law was hurt all year. I got a feeling they're going to try to bring D-Law back. But I also think they need to go in this draft and get some more. They need more help on defense. That's why, for me, I'm not going to be mad. If the Cowboys go 1 and 2, wide receiver, running back, and then 3rd round defense, 5th round, the Cowboys are going to have a smorgasbord in the 3rd round. I mean, in the 5th round, the Cowboys can go defense, another running back, defense, another wide receiver. They're going to have so many options. I think they're going to go a lot defense though on the back end. I do. And I do think the free agency for the Cowboys, I think where they're going to do the most of their playing, I'll be surprised. I think the most of their playing is going to be on defense. I do. Lewis Bailey said, gee, that's why we shouldn't listen to those hating dummies. Yeah, them 3-letter, 4-letter networks especially. Superstar creating problems with no solutions at key positions is problematic. Taco says, unless you're an elite route runner or have size, you can't be a number 1 wide receiver with 4.5 speed and no 50-50 jump ball ability. Woo! I like what you said there. And you know what? I'm telling you, DK Metcalf comes to Dallas. Y'all tell me what you think. I think if DK Metcalf comes to Dallas, DK Metcalf is the number 1 receiver. Doesn't mean CeeDee Lamb is not still going to be a beast. I think DK Metcalf will open up some things for CeeDee, and CeeDee will open up some things for DK Metcalf. But I'm being honest with you. DK Metcalf comes on your squad, he the number 1 receiver. He is, and that's why I question. I know him and CeeDee can coexist. I just wonder, what does it look like? Because we know these wide receivers want the ball. And I'm just telling you, to me, DK Metcalf is a dream wide receiver for a guy like Dak Prescott. I just think DK Metcalf is a dream. Big, crazy catch radius, fast. I mean, you can do multiple things with him. Short, intermediate, and the long balls. You can get the jump balls, fade routes in the end zone. Whoo, man, the options with DK Metcalf. man. And that's why I'm kind of like, man, if DK Metcalf come in here, how does it work? Not saying that it can't. How does it work with DK Metcalf and CeeDee Lamb? Because, boy, if I'm Dak Prescott, though, don't get me wrong. If I'm Dak Prescott, I want these problems. I want these problems if I'm Dak Prescott. I want these problems. But man, y'all tell me what you think in the chat. Man, I'm telling you, I just think if DK Metcalf comes to Dallas, he automatically becomes number one receiver, whether anyone says it or not. Timothy Galvin, he says CeeDee wants a dog wideout. DK Metcalf. I don't know if he wants DK Metcalf, because I'm telling you, DK Metcalf is going to be a number one receiver. He is. Woo, Chanel, I like it. CeeDee needs to know that Philly has a 1A and 1B in wide receiver. Since he has a 1A, 1B, as both receivers can kill you. I love it. Yes. Hey, I'm telling you, Dak would love to have these problems. Dak would love to have these problems. I don't know if CeeDee want these problems, but I know Dak want them. Dak want them problems. Now, Cash, what's going on? CeeDee stats prove he's a number one. Yeah. If he a number two with them numbers, then I've never seen a number one wide receiver. He proved everyone wrong. For sure. I agree with you there, too. I'll tell you this, though. Cash, you tell me what you think. And is that Nakash? You tell me what you think. Hey, man, DK Metcalf come to town. DK, hey, man, you talking about a bona fide 1B. 1A, 1B. And depending upon what defense you play, CeeDee Lamb would have to understand. If DK Metcalf comes to town, just understand, you're going to have to be prepared. There will be some games that DK Metcalf is going to be the primary receiver. Bottom line. I mean, bottom line. You're going to have to understand. You're going to go from a 1,500, 1,400, probably going to go to about 12 or 11. Because now DK Metcalf is probably going to get 1,000 too. Dak will have 2,000-yard receivers, both probably around 1,100 to 1,200 yards, both somewhere between 5 and 10 touchdowns. You'd have to accept that's what's going to happen, for sure. For sure. Because DK Metcalf is an absolute monster. Nisi said, hey, CeeDee, do you need a great number two? As Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin. Yep. Hey, let me tell you something. Nisi, you bring up an excellent point. To hear Drew Pearson talk about Tony Hill. And and those of us who are old enough to watch Tony Hill, prototypical receiver. Tony Hill was a monster. Tony Hill was a monster. And Drew Pearson even said it. He said that dude, Tony Hill, was a freak athlete. Now, in them days, I'm not thinking like that. All I know was Tony Hill was great. Tony Hill was a monster. Tony Hill was a monster, and Drew Pearson said it. And I tell you this, I would love to have DK Metcalf. I would. I'd love to have DK Metcalf. I think he'd be great on the team. Wilson said, be honest, and everyone in the chat do. Any of you see DK or Adams taking a team-friendly deal, same with big-name defensive players? Adams, maybe. DK Metcalf, no. DK Metcalf, no. Let me see what DK Metcalf, see. What does his contract look like? But I think CeeDee Lamb is basically saying, though, they want to hit on he would like one of the younger wide receivers. Now, looking at DK Metcalf's deal, I see what's going on now. Here they are. They're at that point. They're at the point right here. Potential out, 2025, 3-year, $58 million deal, $21 million dead cap. Here they are. They've got themselves in a position to walk away from DK Metcalf. Yep, they got themselves in position. Let's see what it says here. If he's a pre-June 1st release, dead cap $21 million. 2025, you save $10 million. Same thing with the trade. If he's a post-June 1st release, dead cap $13 million, dead cap $7 million in 2026, and you save $18 million. Yep. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are right here. They're right where they want to be with the deal. So now it would just be okay, you pick up DK Metcalf, and what deal can you work out? Here we are. They got him at that point. They got the void years all set up, and here it is. So we're going to see. I'm not going to be surprised if we see some movement on one DK Metcalf unless they go and rework the deal and extend him. It all depends on where the Seattle Seahawks mindset is. Where's their mindset as it applies to one DK Metcalf? Where's the mindset? This is a big deal. It really is. I'll tell you this. Wide receivers like DK Metcalf don't grow on trees. I would love to have DK Metcalf. I'm sorry, I would. Y'all tell me what y'all would give up for DK. Man. Hey, Darren Posey, appreciate that super chat. Oh, man. Woo. Man. Posey. I already know where you're going with that. Jalen Brooks is done already, I think. Jalen Brooks shouldn't even be on the team. Jalen Tolbert, it's do or die for Hugh. It's do or die season for Jalen Tolbert. It is. It's do or die for Jalen Tolbert. Last year, I said Jalen Tolbert was the most important wide receiver on the Dallas Cowboys squad because it was his opportunity to prove that he was a number 2 wide receiver. Jalen Tolbert, while I think he's a good wide receiver, he's not a number 2 wide receiver. The question is, as a 3rd wide receiver, is he better than Ryan Flournoy in his 2nd season? Is he better than Jonathan Mingo when Dak Prescott comes back? But either way, Jalen Tolbert, because we already know that Brandon Cooks is going into free agency. So Jalen Tolbert, he's got to prove he's a 3rd because a 2nd is out of the question. The number 2 receiver is out of the question. They have got to address that. So I'm with you. Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks is probably already going to be a no-go. But Jalen Tolbert, I'm putting him on notice. Bro, you better come out in training camp and kill it. My man Taco Beast, appreciate that. Another super chat. Ooh. Angie the Rebel Chicks, if you still in here, tell me what you think. Taco Beast, he says CeeDee is not an alpha. Google CeeDee Lamb, pink hat. Michael Irvin and Dez Bryant will never. Man, Taco Beast, boy, you coming hard. You coming hard tonight. But I'm telling us, hey, Taco, this was the knock on CeeDee coming out of college. And even now, I do say that CeeDee Lamb is a number 1 wide receiver, but we have to understand the kind of number 1 wide receiver he is. I think he's tough. He's proven this year he's tough. But understand he's a finesse wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb is a finesse wide receiver. That's how I view CeeDee Lamb, as a finesse wide receiver. When you start talking about DK Metcalf, even though sometimes he wear that green hair and stuff, I guess the hair would be blue in Dallas. DK Metcalf, boy, he's a dog. DK Metcalf to me is a dog. I mean, you talking a game-changing type wide receiver. And CeeDee Lamb is too. But DK Metcalf is a different type of game-changing wide receiver to me. He different. Man, I would love to have him. But again, we're going to see this free agency going to be crazy. This free agency is going to tell us a whole bunch of things. Boy, I'm telling you, I am so excited about free agency next week because, boy, we're about to see all kinds of players bite the dust. Literally, teams are just going to be cutting players. They're going to be cutting them. They're just not going to do it. They're going to cut them. Okay, now, Renan, tell me this. He said DK will cost too much for us. Diggs is toxic to the locker room. Oh, I do not. Man, have y'all seen this stuff going on out here with Stephon Diggs? Man, this stuff out here with Stephon Diggs, we can't have it, man. We can't have it. I prefer a young, fresh player, and we would be better with a Mecca or Ted. Now, me, I'm in this ballpark. I'm with you on that. I would rather them bring in a young guy. Just get one of the rookies. They're so good. But let me ask you this. Would you give up a second-round draft pick for DK Metcalf? Y'all let me know in the chat. Would you give up a second-round draft pick for DK Metcalf? Because DK Metcalf, base salary, let's see. DK Metcalf was a 3-year, $58 million receiver. So DK Metcalf is somewhere in the range of around $18 to $20 million a year. Would you give up a second-round draft pick for DK Metcalf and pay him around $15 million a season? That's the question. $15 million a season for DK Metcalf. 3-year, $45 million. DK Metcalf is not going to be in the I don't see anybody putting him in the Justin Jefferson, what's going to be Jamar Chase. I don't know if they're going to put him in those types of pays like CeeDee Lamb, $30 million a year. I just don't think, at least I say that. But maybe you get one of these teams that's trying to rebuild their team. Maybe they would give him a $20 million a year, $25 million a year salary. Yeah, I do think DK Metcalf is going to be hard to get. Oh, superstar, I'm with you. Steve Smith, man, I'm telling you. Stephon Diggs would be drama. Stephon Diggs, to me, would be drama. He got too much going on. Taco a beast. Oh, boy, you coming in here now with this. You coming with some hardcore facts. Somebody tell me. Taco has presented a case. He said, name one top 10 cornerback CeeDee has had a 100-yard game on. That's tough. That is tough. Top Gunner. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out we need a number 2 wide receiver to pair with CeeDee. It's right there in the draft. T-Mac, Ibuka, Burton right there for the taking. Got to do it in the first round. Exactly. Yeah, they're going to have to get CeeDee Lamb a complimentary receiver in the draft. And again, could he handle being with a wide receiver like DK Metcalf? Boy, DK come on your team, he automatically says, I'm an alpha wide receiver, and I'm the one. I'm a 1 also. And if you keep playing, I'll be the 1A. He automatically, yeah. Don't know the beast. He said Gilly made Amari quit in 2019. I like Golden. Yeah, he's gonna be nice. He got a lot of speed on him. Burton to me is another Steve Smith Senior type. Yeah, Burton's gonna be a beast. Burton's gonna be a beast for sure. Troy also was a 3rd-round draft pick and has outperformed since day one. Osa Odighizuwa. I tell you this, they need to go get another defensive tackle in this draft too. Jigga man, what's going on? Cowboys said running back is not 1st-round priority. You know why they're saying that? Omarion Hampton. I think they believe, and I don't even know if they got Omarion Hampton on their list. I don't think they got him on the I think he's on the list. I don't think he's the guy that they're maybe looking at. I think they're looking at a guy like a Travion Henderson. I do. I think they're looking at a guy like Travion Henderson. Chanel. He says, Chase is a big-time number 1 receiver. He can kill you at the slot and X receiver position. And Chase go route is crazy work. Oh, yeah, Chase. Oh, yeah. Man, yeah. Chase, Jamar Chase is whew. Yeah. And he about to get the bag, too. Jamar Chase about to get the bag. Wilson said everyone is happy about all this money Cowboys getting and also change till it's time to start actually paying needed players. Well, we're about to see. Because, Wilson, this is why we need the domino to drop on Micah Parsons. Drop that domino. Flip the switch on Dak Prescott's contract because now the proof is about to be in the pudding. Who do the Cowboys get in free agency? And I'll be honest with you. I really think the Cowboys need to prioritize defense in free agency. Prioritize defense in free agency. You do offense in the draft. One position that translates well, running back. The Cowboys will be fine. All the way down to the 5th best running back, they'll be fine. And then you go in that back end, you get you another running back in the 5th round. One of those guys like Michael Yarns or one of them if they're there. Go in there and get those guys. Get you 2 highly skilled players. Because one of these guys, watch this. If the Cowboys get one of these speedy wide receivers on the back end, one of these speedy running backs on the back end, they also get to play in the passing game. The second wide receiver can play in the passing game. And I really do think the Cowboys need to really consider getting one of those speedy wide receivers back there in the draft too, because I'll be honest with y'all, we're going to see what they do. The talk is the 2nd round tender on one KaVontae Turpin. Man, I'm wondering if someone's going to pick up KaVontae Turpin. But again, if someone picks up KaVontae Turpin, Cowboys get a 2nd round pick. Cowboys get a 2nd round pick if somebody picks up KaVontae Turpin. And if somebody picks up KaVontae Turpin, get one of those speedy wide receivers who ran a 4.3, and they become your new kick returner and punt returner. And they become your new 4th receiver, unless you say, hey, we got Mingo, Flournoy, we get T-Mac, Ibuka, one of those guys, and we got CeeDee Lamb. Hey, you give me CeeDee Lamb, or Micah Ibuka, or T-Mac, you give me one of those guys, and then you got if Flournoy and Mingo, and then, of course, I'm still going to have whoever else I get on the back end of that draft. Cowboys probably got a pretty good wide receiver room. They got a pretty good wide receiver room. But CeeDee Lamb, I believe, is saying I'm the alpha dog up in this piece. I think that's what he's saying. Byron, Joe David, what's going on? Appreciate you. He said, woo, yes, yes. And this was the method to my madness of wanting the Philadelphia Eagles to win, because this is exactly what I think happened. A shame that the NFC Championship had to light a fire under the Joneses' butt, and it did. I believe it did. No doubt in my mind, I believe it did. Alex, he said, you've been writing your predictions so far. Hopefully you're right again, and next week the front office makes big moves. Hey, Alex, appreciate the super chat. I think they're going to make I don't think it's going to be day 1. Day 2 and 3, I think the Cowboys start playing. And I think where they need to play is defense. Offense is in the draft. I think when you start talking about skill positions, especially in a draft like this, go ahead and get those guys who you're going to have for 4 years. Go ahead and get those guys, get them built up. And if you want to enhance the young guys with a few veterans, bring in a Nick Chubb. Bring in a Nick Chubb. Let's see. I think the Cowboys, if they wanted to, it all depends on how they're feeling. The Cowboys, if they want to, they could bring in even wide receivers. Maybe you bring in. Maybe we don't go up here. Maybe we're not, man, and I'm telling you, please, no Stephon Diggs. Maybe maybe you're not looking at the Adams, the Diggs, the Keenan Allen. I would if I'm the Cowboys, man. I would love to kick the tires on somebody like an Amari Cooper. Don't think he's going to come back, though. Chris Godwin, he's 29 years of age. It all depends on what he's looking at. And what kind of money is he looking at? Maybe you can go in and supplement the rookies, the rookie wide receiver you get. Maybe you get you one of these veterans on the back end. I'll tell you another guy. I'm going to be very interested to see what is his, what's going to be his destination. Mike Williams. Mike Williams was a $10 million wide receiver. What do y'all think about bringing in? If you could bring in Mike Williams and draft a young guy. Mike Williams, his previous annual per year was $10 million. His average was $10 million. I think the Cowboys will have some options if they just want to bring in some veteran presence, unless they're saying that, we're cool. CeeDee Lamb is enough, and we'll let him be the alpha wide receiver, even though Taco B said he can't be that type of, he's not an alpha wide receiver. So You got options here. Let's see. I mean, you're just looking at the back end back here. I mean, I'm not bringing in Noah Brown. We had Noah Brown before. Didn't like that. But maybe you look back here and say we can bring in some of that veteran presence. But definitely, I'm not passing up on these wide receivers in the draft. They're just too doggone good. These wide receivers in the draft, y'all, they too good. I can't pass up on them if I'm the Cowboys. Some of these wide receivers in this draft are just going to be too doggone good. They are. If the Cowboys have an opportunity to get T. Matt, they got to get him. If the Cowboys have an opportunity to get a Mecca Ibuka and they can get him at a good point in the draft, they're going to be able to get him for a good price, they have to get him. But I still say don't let that stop you from loading up even more. But the Cowboys, man, they got some work to do. They got some work to do. We got to get the last piece of this puzzle done. The last piece of this puzzle, and I'm gonna close the show with this. I released a video today. On my channel about Mina Kimes and Micah Parsons. I released a video on them today. But I want to remind us, because some people's memory is not that good. But I want to go back to the Micah Parsons ESPN interview. Because Mina Kimes is saying that the Cowboys should go ahead and get Micah Parsons signed. And the way she puts it, she says it's as simple as looking at the top paid edge rusher. This is Mina Kimes. She said, look at the top paid edge rusher. And you just go and add money to whatever he's getting paid. And that's what you pay Micah Parsons. She said it's that easy. And let me quote her here. And you can go watch the video after this to check out what I said if you hadn't seen it already. But she says, I don't know what's so hard about this, she said. You take the top edge contract. I believe it's Nick Bosa. Yes. And then you add some money. Boom, done. I did it. Dallas like that, not hard. Now, I don't know if it's not as hard because of something that Micah Parsons did. Now, let me show you Nick Bosa. Let me show you what his contract is. This is Nick Bosa right here. Some of you probably already know this. I've shown it before. This is Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, by far, y'all, he out there. $170 million contract, $34 million average, total guaranteed, 122.5. But again, notice the number, $88 million guaranteed. Now, when you look at the fully guaranteed money, he's at $88 million. But TJ Watt, while his total value and his average per year is 28, total guaranteed $80 million, he did what I think is smart. Because this is the deal that I'm suggesting and not this exact deal. I'll explain what I'm telling you in a minute. Look at his total guaranteed and look at his fully guaranteed. This right here to me is genius. It's $80 million. Now, y'all give me the answer in the chat. Y'all tell me in the chat on this. I know a lot of people they're split on this type of stuff. And then I got a couple more super chats I want to go down to. Y'all tell me what y'all think on this. Is Micah Parsons better than Nick Bosa, or does it matter? Because Cowboys got some decisions to make as far as this pay goes. Because it's $88 million fully guaranteed. Let me get a couple super chats and I'm going to come back to this. Oh, I'm sorry. Got one more super chat. I'm sorry. Taco Beast, appreciate you. Taco Beast, he said, quick tip for Cowboys fans. You evaluate players based on good versus good only. Not what players did against Giants and the Panthers. Woo! I see what you're saying there. I've talked about this before. Sometimes some of these stats are coming against those teams, especially on defense. We accuse Dak of this stuff, but go back and look at some of the performances we've had against the teams that you were mentioning on defense. And those players are, man, some of these people make their careers on this stuff. But on the back end, y'all tell me what you think on this part. When you look at this contract with Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa is $88 million guaranteed, average of $34 million a year. Now, Mina Kimes is saying, so you just take a few extra million. How many? 5, 6, 3, 4. I mean, what do you do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do you do? 35, 36, 37, 40. I mean, what do you do? She's saying it is as simple as saying if Nick Bosa's making 34, pay Micah Parsons 38. Now, y'all tell me if it's that simple. Because that's what she's saying. She's saying it's that simple. She's saying it's that simple. I don't believe it's that simple, but that's what she's saying. She's saying it's that simple. Now, and the reason why I do not believe it's that simple. Micah Parsons added something into this discussion that I don't think Micah Parsons should have added. Micah Parsons, for whatever reason, I'll never understand this. I do not understand this type of reasoning. This is Micah Parsons. Let me show you what he says here. Some people are forgetting this. I'm not forgetting it. So this is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons brings these types of things into the discussion. Nobody asked him to do it. This is Micah Parsons.
When it comes to that contract?
Man, when it comes to the contract side, once again, I think, I'm Jerry's guy. I think it'll be quite, I know it's easier said than done because I'm not at the table, but, that's my guy. We talk about it and we talk about how much we appreciate each other, but I know numbers talk, but man, I just, at the end of the day, whatever it takes for me to just continue to be a Cowboy until I retire, that's what I want, and I know it's going to be hard conversations and reality checks, but, I think I'm a good enough caliber to be here.
Why is that so important to you to be?
Now, Micah Parsons brings into the chat, I want to be a Cowboy for life. Well, to be a fill in the blank for life requires you to take massive pay cuts, team-friendly deals. You don't get to be on a team for life unless you're a quarterback. And even then, this is Dak Prescott. I guarantee you, Dak Prescott just got his last big deal. Unless Dak Prescott come out and win like 2 or 3 Super Bowls. Not saying none of that is possible. Because I do believe they're going to make a run, and I do believe they get to the Super Bowl in 2026, at the latest 2027. So, but even then, if Dak gets 1 or 2, let's say he's still balling in that 4th year, it's still going to require a pay cut. It's still going to require a pay cut. Now, Micah Parsons is introducing things into his own negotiation that nobody is asking him. So he's already said he want to be a Cowboy for life. Now listen to the next thing he says.
11.
100%. 100%. I definitely need multiple Super Bowls. If that's the case, I need at least 2. And, hopefully I get.
Does it matter to you if you...
Now, this guy for ESPN, he's real slick in what he does. He's talking to Micah Parsons, but he wants to bring up Dak Prescott. Listen to him.
Does it matter to you if Dak became the highest paid player in NFL history?
Now, He should have stopped right there. Does it matter to you if you're the highest paid player at your position? No. He wants to bring in Dak Prescott. Now watch how he sets up Micah Parsons.
Does it matter to you to become the highest paid defensive player?
I don't know. Like, it really just depends on the circumstances of, like, who are we trying to get, who's trying to, return. I look at it from a business side also,
Now, follow what he said. I thought about this when he first said it. He said, it depends on what we're trying to do. Okay, Osa Odighizuwa coming back. D-Law, what are they doing? Free agency, what are they going to do? Now, let's understand this. In order for any of this to make sense, the Cowboys actually have to lay out their plan to Micah Parsons. We do understand this, right? Because if it depends on what they do in free agency, if it depends on who they're trying to bring in, they got to tell him what they're going to do in free agency or what they're going to attempt to do in free agency before he gives them the deal or the discount. Because how do they know what they're going to do in free agency when they're trying to get him extended before free agency? Do we follow what I'm saying? They got to tell him the plan before free agency, don't they? So in all of this, Micah Parsons is bringing in things to the chat that is crazy to me. He's bringing things to the conversation that's crazy to me. Why is he bringing these things up? He ain't done, though. Just listen to what he says.
If we're going to be aggressive and bringing in players to play next to me, because right now you look at it, I don't know who I'm playing, besides Marshawn and Sam and Mozzie. I don't know, who's going to be in our room with Chauncey and Osa and D-Law.
Now, it depends on how aggressive we're going to be. He brings up Chauncey. He brings up Osa. Brings up Osa, brings up D-Law. So, we've already got that domino to fall. And it makes me wonder if Michael wanted him back. But again, he still needs to know the free agency plan. And I'm sure as they sit down and talk to him, they're going to let him in on the plan if they haven't already. So, what price do they bring Micah Parsons in? Because now he's about to do something to me that made no sense. And if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to hold him and his agent to what he says right here.
Not being here. So to me, it's all about the foundation of the team. Like, how can I create the best foundation and play with the guys who've helped me create a lot of success.
Now keep in mind what he says. He wants to create a foundation. That's not his job. That's not his job. But he's inviting this conversation. He's inviting this conversation. And I'm wondering, am I the only one who's going to go back to this interview? And this is not the only one. He's given 2 other interviews like this where he talks about he doesn't have to be the highest paid player. He keeps introducing this. No one's asking him to do it. He's doing it on his own. And I'm laughing at a lot of the Dallas Cowboy fan base encouraging this. Yeah, Micah's saying everything need to be said. Okay, we're about to see if he's going to put his money where his mouth is. Because just keep going. Listen.
Those guys helped me get to where I am, where I could become the highest paid player. So, I would like, for as many of us to be here as possible so we can continue having success, winning seasons. I know we've been injured, but, I don't think that changes the outcome. I think these last couple of weeks and been defining of our, our real defense that's come together, learning a new system. So, to me, it's just all about, the aggressiveness on how we look at, free agency and who I want to play next to, because I feel like.
Now watch this. Watch this. He knows he's about to say something that's about to take a dig at his quarterback. He knows. This is why he pauses and look at the look he gives. But listen to what he's saying. Depends on how aggressive we're going to be. Well, Michael, you got to sign the extension first. So do they give him a promissory note? Do they tell Micah Parsons, hey, Micah Parsons, we promise that if you sign for this amount of money, this is who we're going to go after? Do they have a list of people they're going to go after in free agency on defense? Because he's talking about, especially as it applies to free agency, he's not talking about on the offensive side of the ball. We do know this, right? Micah Parsons is talking about on the defensive side of the ball. Who are they going to get for him to play with on defense? And that's going to depend on what he does as far as pay goes. Are we following this? Let's listen again.
You know, you see a lot of times, you know, the highest paid, you know, player, you know, then we say they don't have weapons or, you know, they don't have this. So
now, Micah Parsons is a shrewd operator in saying what he said. But now we know the Philadelphia Eagles just threw egg on his face because the Philadelphia Eagles got a quarterback that's making $52 million. The Philadelphia Eagles went and put players, and I mean they put players. And they not only have 3 players paying them, they have 6 players they're paying. How are they doing it? How did the Detroit Lions do it? How did the Buffalo Bills do it? How did the Baltimore Ravens do it? So now, this whole thing that he said right here, egg on his face. You know another reason why it's egg on his face? Because the Cowboys now are going to prove that it's been them and not Dak's salary. Watch how many people they put around Dak Prescott. Micah Parsons, I got news for you. You're included in being put around Dak Prescott. They've signed Osa Odighizuwa. They're going to sign you. They're going to sign somebody or a couple of people in free agency, and they're going to get players in the draft, and they're going to put all those players around Dak Prescott being the highest paid player in the league. I still don't understand why he made this comment. But the next comment is the one that if I'm Jerry and Stephen Jones, this is what I'm holding his feet to the fire on. Listen.
I'd rather just be in the best situation. You know, I at that point, you know, I don't think there's a big difference between 30 and 40 million.
Now, I don't know where y'all from. There's a huge difference between 30 and 40 million dollars. You know what it is? $10 million. There's not a difference between 30 and 40 million dollars. Wait a minute, maybe y'all didn't hear what this man said. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm just taking this the wrong way.
On how we look at, you know, free agency and who I want to play next to, because I feel like, you know, at that point, you know, I don't think there's a big difference between 30 and 40 million.
Y'all tell me in the chat if there's a difference between 30 and 40 million. Man, there's a difference between $30 and $40. There's a difference between $300 and $400. There's a difference between $3,000 and $4,000. Man, there's a difference between $30,000 and $40,000, $300,000 and $400,000. You're saying that there's no difference between 30 and 40 million. If I'm Jerry and Stephen Jones, I got to hold him to this. I have to hold him to this. Y'all tell me what you think.
In my eyes, you know? And that's just me talking.
Listen.
Like,
Is David going to have to understand that too?
my agent might be mad at me. I even said that. But, you know, for me,
Now, this part, I understand what he's saying right here.
I mean, bro, I've already been blessed enough, bro. Like, I can't complain too much in life.
Man, don't get me wrong. I can appreciate what he said right there. But boy, y'all explain to me. We're going to close this out, but y'all got to explain this to me. This man voluntarily now, said there's no difference between 30 and 40 million. He just relinquished even the thought of what Mina Kimes, these 3 and 4 letter networks, they just report things because they want the headlines. Surely she couldn't have forgot this. Surely she couldn't have forgot it. I don't see how anybody could forget it, because I'm telling you, the moment he said it, I said, nah, I got to keep this in my file cabinet. So when his contract negotiations begin, I want to see if he's going to put his money where his mouth is. Now, no one's asking him to take a discount. He volunteered it. And to devalue himself and to devalue money, to say that there's no difference between 30 million and 40 million. I don't know where Micah Parsons, I don't know. I just don't know what world you live in when there's no difference between 30 and 40 million. I don't understand that. Y'all got to help me out with that part. I just don't know in what world there's no difference between 30 and 40 million. What world is that, y'all? I don't understand it. Y'all tell me in the chat. Y'all tell me in the chat. I don't understand this conversation. Chanel said Parsons won't sign a contract till he sees what the Jones is doing free agency. Trust me. Now, Chanel, and the problem becomes, but a part of his contract signing is going to allow them to do things in free agency. So if he don't sign the contract before free agency, they don't get to do certain things. His contract is going to free up quite a bit of money in free agency. I don't understand it. I don't understand this one. I don't. Royals, what's going on? I don't understand this. Chanel, I agree with you. He said Nick Bosa is a true defensive end. I do. Michael turned defensive end to benefit himself. Money-wise, as Quinn allowed him to play defensive end as an undersized linebacker. He did. I don't understand it. D-Law is on the other side of Parsons. Yeah, he ain't good enough, though. He's good in the run. He's not good enough at the pass rushing thing. Parsons, Wilson Santiago. Parsons said that because he knows deep down Jerry and Steven will pull the trigger on Garrett. So 9 times out of 10, they will give him a huge contract. Man, if nobody's on the other side, they can double team CeeDee. Exactly. It's the same thing with Micah Parsons. I brought this same point up against Micah Parsons, Poopy D, and people don't understand it. There's a reason why Micah Parsons gets double teamed so much. And it's not that he's not good, but he's the only thing you have to stop. So why not double team him? You obviously you can go with a single man on Osa Odighizuwa, a single man on Mozzie Smith, and a single man on D-Law if he's over there, or Chauncey Golston, or whoever else is over there. So there's a reason why he gets double teamed so much. I'm telling y'all, this thing with Micah Parsons, though, I'm holding him to this. This man said there's no difference between $30 and $40 million. That's crazy. That's crazy talk to me. I don't understand how somebody let this come out of their mouth. That is crazy talk to me. My man, Johnny Blue, what's going on? Appreciate that super chat. Johnny Blue. Parsons said he would take less to sign free agents like Myles Garrett. He wasn't going to take less. The Joneses don't do anything in free agency. Now, he said it all depends on what we're trying to get. He said he didn't say 35. He said 30 million and 40 million. Exactly. He said there's no difference. Man, that's crazy talk to me. That's crazy talk. Now, again, if you really want to just get down to brass taxes, Johnny Blue, you think about it. $30 million in Dallas or $32 million in Dallas would actually be more than $34 million per year in San Francisco. Excuse me. It would be more. But I think it's crazy that he said it. I wouldn't say anything like that. Hassani, he said, thanks, G. Was about to say the same thing to Parsons' comment. Man, I'm telling you, I don't understand why he made the comment. Yes, his extension will free money. And that's why it's a kind of like a conundrum because, okay, Michael, we can tell you who we're going to try and get, but we're going to need your money to do it. We would have to have his money to make a run for Myles Garrett. We would. Gabe said the fact that Michael says there's no difference between 30 and 40 million is a direct shot at Dak Prescott being the highest paid player in the NFL. That's why Michael's saying it to be opposite of the quarterback. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Because I said the same thing. It was a shot at Dak. It's crazy. And he knew when he said what he said it was going to be controversial. That's why he made the face that he made. Theo, well, what do you mean he didn't mean it literally? Can you tell me how you mean that more metaphorically? I mean, how do you mean that metaphorically? Help me out, Theo. You're going to have to help me out now because you done went down the rabbit hole. Because there is no conversation where I'm telling someone there's no difference between $30 and $40 million. There's no conversation for me. There's no conversation I'm saying that. I'm not saying it. Skull Unknown got Henry for less than $10 million. We could have afforded that deal. We didn't do it. Taco said if Michael ever gets any help, it's over for opposing offenses. Micah Parsons is impossible to block one-on-one consistently. He'll be tough to block. I'll agree with you on that. My question is, what is he going to take? Oh, Top Gunner, stop telling the truth. Michael needs to do is show up against good teams and keep his mouth shut sometimes. Some things are better left unsaid. He's sounding real crazy about the money. And Top Gunner, you're 100% correct. When you look at his stats against good teams, I mean, 1 sack. Chanel brought us that stat is courtesy of Chanel. 1 sack in 4 playoff appearances. You can't argue with it. You just can't argue with it. The Cowboys have got to get this deal. I want to see how do they do this deal with Micah Parsons because this is crazy to me. This is crazy to me. He set this up. And Theo, you said he didn't mean that literally. Well, why would they say his agent is going to be mad at him? Because his agent, I mean, this guy is smart sitting on the couch saying, hey, man, that's probably not something you should say. I'm sorry if I'm the Cowboys, I'm holding him to this. I'm holding him to this. And if we're seeing anything, who gets to determine what's aggressive? Y'all tell me. What does aggressive look like? Is aggressive Myles Garrett? What's aggressive? Is aggressive Hassan Reddick? What's aggressive? I got to know because when you start talking like this, it's very disingenuous. Because we know what you're doing on the front end. It's very disingenuous. Because how are we going to applaud him for saying he doesn't have to be the highest paid player? There's no difference between 30 and 40 million. And Micah Parsons has not said this once. He said it 3 times. I've heard 3 interviews, and he's been very clear on these. Even though I've noticed he tries to throw a caveat of, depending upon who we're trying to get and things. No. Which one is it, man? Which one is it? But to say there's no difference between $30 and $40 million, that's saying a lot right there. Now, when you start looking at what's out there on the market, what do we call aggressive? That's why I'm asking the question as we close. What do we call aggressive? What do we call it? Do we call Draymond Jones, DeMarcus Lawrence? I mean, we already know we're trying to get him. Now, Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat to me would probably be what I would put in the category of aggressive. Y'all tell me what you think. I think Chase Young would be in the department of aggressive. Charles Omenihu, I'm not as familiar with him. Y'all tell me what you think. DeMarcus Walker. You're looking at these guys up in that kind of price range. Who are we looking at? I wouldn't call Dante Fowler aggressive. I think when you start getting down in these types of pays, I don't think it's aggressive. But y'all tell me what you think. I heard someone mention Calais Campbell. I wouldn't call that aggressive. Now, I want you to understand something about me. Hey, man, I'm not a pocket watch. Hey, bro, get your money. But you're the one out here sabotaging your own money. You're the one making these crazy comments. If I'm your agent, I'd have called you up on the phone that day and say, please, brother, don't say that again. That's crazy talk. People take that. I don't know any other way to take it. Man, Troy Dudley up in here dropping some bombs too. That boy Troy Dudley said a defensive end does not play the run, is not a defensive end. Well, in that rush 4, drop 7, they have to. You right on with that. Roger Lewis Sr., he meant exactly what he said. There's no metaphor in that statement. I'm with you, Roger. There's no metaphor in that statement. It's not. Micah showing up against good teams win. Woo! Hey, man, I got to admit, that's been on an Achilles heel for him. But you have to understand one of the reasons why it's true. Because the better teams have better tackles. And they can handle him a lot better one-on-one. They have better lines. He disappears in some of those things. Hassani said, how you feel about AOC saying some podcasters don't know what they talking about, saying Osa didn't deserve $20 million, felt he was taking a shot at you? Well, I'll say this. Okay, I see what you're saying. How do you feel about AOC? Oh, saying that Osa don't deserve $20 million, felt he was taking a shot at you. You know what? In these type of situations, to me, we're all telling the same story. Whether we realize it or not, we may not be telling it from the same perspective or the way we see it. But I'm just telling you how it is to me. And some of the fans, Hassani, they've been saying it. I think they're right. I think what happened to Osa Odighizuwa, the Cowboys waited too late to sign him. Bottom line, they waited too late to sign him. Not only did they wait too late to sign him, defensive tackle is at a premium in this league right now. The Cowboys got him in a position to where he's going to hit free agency. And like Superstar said, you're definitely going to get more money in free agency. You're going to get overpaid. You're going to get overvalued. So I don't know. I don't know if he's taking a shot at me. I mean, I don't, I'll tell you this, Sonny. I'll tell you this. One thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to play any of those games with content creators. I'm just not going to play those games. I'm not going to play all the taking shots and going back and forth. If somebody want to talk about me, hey, that's their opinion. They can say what they want to say. I'm not in it for that. I'm in it for positive things. I'm in it to bring something to the fan base. And there's things we don't have to agree upon. I don't think Osa Odighizuwa is worth $20 million. And guess what, Hassani? I'm right. You know why I'm right? Because I just showed the breakdown of the deal. It's not a $20 million a year deal as the way people are saying it. They're not even reporting the deal right. The deal is not a $20 million a year deal. The deal is an $18 million per year deal. It's a 2-year, $18 million deal, $39 million deal over 2 years. The Cowboys can literally walk away from that deal. The Cowboys didn't think so either. And I'm wondering if somebody checked the temperature of the water, Hassani. Somebody checked the temperature of the water, because if I'm Osa Odighizuwa and I know I can get $23 million, y'all can tell me anything you want to. I'm not walking away from $23 million a season to play for the Cowboys. Unless I absolutely love the Cowboys. And I know for a fact that, man, we're going to the Super Bowl next year. Or our team is so good that we're going to the Super Bowl next year or the year after. I mean, there are a lot of factors on my first contract. And no one's calling me a generational player. Name me one person that's called Osa Odighizuwa a generational player. I haven't even heard people say he's a great defensive. I haven't even heard people say he's a great defensive tackle. I haven't heard people say that. I've heard people say he's good. I've heard nobody say he's great. I've heard nobody say he's great. They may say he's great. Someone else may say he's great, and they're entitled to their opinion. But we can give stats on the fact that based on the stats, and we can show the tape. Maybe your definition, maybe someone else's definition of great is different. But I consider great to be like a Chris Jones. I consider great to be guys who are so disruptive that they're absolutely changing games. And we know, if we're being honest with ourselves, Osa Odighizuwa hasn't done that. But again, the contract, man, I'm not mad. I think the Cowboys, whoever did that contract, man, hats off to them. They did it perfectly. They fixed that contract to where they can walk away from it and take a minimal hit. I applaud them. They didn't wrap themselves up in no quote unquote can't get out of a deal. No, they did it right. Lee Time says, gee, you know Parsons was on that little bus program. Stop trying to jack the man. Hey, Lee Time. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing about me. Bro, this is America. You make all the money you can. You are worth whatever somebody's willing to pay you. I'm telling you, for me, if it was my team, I'm not paying $20 million for Osa Odighizuwa, 21, 22. Wasn't paying that. But it's not my team. I'm saying if it was my team. Osa Odighizuwa for me is $15 million. That's the target for me. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Rather than paying Osa Odighizuwa, I'd have went in free agency and got me 2 defensive tackles. I'm just telling you what I would have done. I'm just telling you what I would have done. I wouldn't have paid him. But again, at $18 million. All right. Let's see what it do. Osa Odighizuwa play out of his mind? Contract worth it. Contract worth it. But I tell you this, they better get somebody else, because Osa Odighizuwa and Micah Parsons is not going to be enough, and we know because we've been seeing it. What's in Santiago? If I'm Parsons' agent, I'll tell Jerry it was. He said I'll tell the Jerry I was under the influence in that interview. Now here are the numbers we want. Now, Wilson, you catch what he said though? Man, I'm just telling you, in what I do, man, I just analyze words. My agent, see, his agent, I just wonder if there's a difference in what he's saying and what his agent is going to say. Because I'm telling y'all, we can say anything we want to, but Micah Parsons put this nonsense out into the atmosphere. He said he doesn't have to be the highest paid player. He said there's no difference between $30 and $40 million. Boy, that's hard. That is hard to live down. Micah sucks against the run at the end, but I don't care. His pass rush is top elite. Create a scheme that hides Parsons against the run, and I think that's what they're going to do, Taco. Because Matt Eberflus, I think, knows this too. Matt Eberflus said he's going to rush the passer. He hasn't said anything beyond that. Cannot wait to see what he does. Nisi, aggressive is giving Shotty the players he needs to build his team. Yes, I'm with you, for sure. Troy Dully, he said, tell that to Philly. Wilson Santiago, elite against good teams. Laughing his butt off, he said, Roger, in my opinion, aggressive is Myles Garrett. So, if that's the case, then how do you enter into the agreement? Do we tell Micah Parsons, okay, I tell you what, we'll flip the switch on Dak's contract, and then what we'll do is we'll show you in good faith that we are standing on business, and we're going to go get Myles Garrett. And then once we get Myles Garrett, then we sign your deal, and then that $30 million, no difference between $30 and $40 million, we sign you for $30 million. Now, let me tell you what I would do if I'm Micah Parsons. Let me be honest with you. I think there is when you look at the way that he could really do his contract and really get paid, this is just me. But one of these contracts in here, I really like the way that it's done, and it's TJ Watt's contract. Let me show you what TJ Watt did. And I absolutely love what TJ Watt said. Let me go back to that before I get out of here. Let me show you what TJ Watt did. If I was Micah Parsons, let me tell you what I think is smart. TJ Watt's agent needs to be applauded. I want you to look at this number. TJ Watt, his total guarantee is $80 million. But his fully guaranteed is $80 million. His average per year is $28 million, and the total value is $112. If I was Micah Parsons, I would do something that's just insane. I would give the Cowboys a 4-year, $120 million deal. 4-year, $120 million deal. Fully guaranteed. That would give me $30 million per year guaranteed money. And while my average per year wouldn't be as much as a Nick Bosa, look at Nick Bosa's total guarantees. $122.5 million. You take $30 million a year, fully guaranteed 4 years. Well, what is your guarantee? $120 million. Fully guaranteed, Nick Bosa's $88 million. I'm sure there's some kind of roster bonuses and stuff like that. But if I say, like TJ Watt, no. I want a flat $120 million, $30 million guaranteed per season. So that means come hell or high water, I get $120 million over 4 years. Don't matter about roster bonuses. Don't matter about roster bonuses. It don't matter about any injuries, none of that. I don't even have to put that clause in there. No, it's $120 million guaranteed over 4 years. That's it. It's $120 million. And that fully guaranteed number would be better than everybody. See, Shannon Sharp, again, he put us all up on game. The game is the fully guaranteed money. That's the game. All these numbers up here on the front, total value, man, that's junk. That's just junk for the media to talk about. The folk who understand and get those paychecks, they'll tell you this is where it's at. Fully guaranteed. That's what I would do if I was Micah Parsons. But again, I'm expecting Micah Parsons' deal to be done this. I'd be shocked if it's not done this weekend. And if Micah Parsons' deal is not done by the end of the week, because to me, Micah Parsons' deal should be the simplest one, according to Mina Kimes. It should be the simplest one. It should literally be as simple as, okay, like she said, Nick Bosa makes $34 million. Micah, we're going to pay you $38 million. That's simple. Okay, he's got $88 million guaranteed. We'll give you $92 million guaranteed. Total guaranteed 122.5. We'll give you 126. I mean, it's all a numbers game, and sometimes it's the front end stuff or the numbers of how they look to people. But at the end of the day, the fully guaranteed money is where it's at. See, it's bottom line. Fully guaranteed money is where it's at. So I'm very interested to see how do they do Micah Parsons' deal. And at the end of the day, it was all just smoke and mirrors if Micah Parsons winds up being the highest paid. JS Tube says, what I like about Stephen Jones, he keeps his cards hidden. If he's holding back on Micah, I'll guess it's for a reason. Trading number 11 might be that reason. But I tell you, I agree with you. The one thing that Stephen ain't going to do, he ain't going to do what Jerry does. Jerry plays his hand a lot. Not Stephen. Stephen ain't going to play his hand. Taco says, Troy Dudley, Dallas paid Gallup, Steele, Dak, Spencer, Donovan Wilson, and one-leg Jalen Smith. Cowboys have no clue what they're doing. Well, we're about to see because they might be doing some things different this year. I hope they are anyway, Taco. Oak Cliff Rockefeller, does Parsons need any assistance with run stoppage? Man, they're going to need some. They need some players around Micah Parsons. They really do. Wilson, getting our own players is not aggressive. Well, we're about to see the real story next week. Now, Jerry and them, the Joneses are doing something that I think some of this is for the fans. They're closing deals for the fans. You know, you want to kind of get the fans' confidence, but the real test is going to be free agency. The real test is going to be free agency. It is. Lead time, boy, I would love for them to bring in Chase Young. Signing current players isn't aggressive. Making moves in draft and free agency is aggressive. Skull, we're about to see. But Micah, but getting these guys signed is a part of that. And that's the part we do have to understand is getting these guys signed is going to be a big part of that. We have to do it. Miss Matrix, what's going on? She says aggressive is doing whatever it takes. Restructure, cut, trade, free agency, never mind the cap or liking our guys. And I think some of this has been liking our guys. But I'm not necessarily mad about it either. Skull and says resigning these man, Skull. Man, we're going to see. Aaron Wesley. Yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see what all this means. Sweat is pure aggressive. Okay, so you agree with me on that. Yeah, that's where I am too. I mean, there are some guys that if you go out and try to get these guys, it's called aggressive. It is literally called aggressive. I mean, even trying to go out and get a guy like a Hassan Reddick. I mean, man. I mean, this is aggressive. Khalil Mack, Hassan Reddick. I mean, guys like that. That's aggressive. That's aggressive. And so we're going to see. All you got to do is put more run defenders around Parsons. Well, this is why Mozzie matters. Mozzie matters this year. He does. Mozzie matters. And who they put on that other side is going to matter too. Gabe, Howie Roseman does it again. He gave Saquon a raise and made him the highest paid running back at $20 million a year. Money must grow on trees. Man, let me tell you, boy, this dude got to be the best one in the game. He the best one in the game. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. It is what it is. Troy Dudley. Yeah, don't worry about it, Hassani. Me and what's the name, we've talked behind the scenes a couple of times. And at the end of the day, like I said, yeah, it's all love for me with all these Dallas Cowboy podcasters, man. I mean, you know what it is? You know, like I said, sometimes, man, we way too, I don't know. Some guys say they take this serious. I do too, but at the same time, it's football. And some of these things, sometimes we're speculating. I try to bring a lot of fact-based content, but sometimes we're, you know, again, as a preacher, you think about the Gospels of Jesus Christ. There are actually 4 Gospels. They all share some similarities, and they all have some things that are unique to them. They all have a different purpose, but the same purpose. But they're trying to prove something different about the same person. And sometimes I think as content creators, you know, we just have to all understand that in the end of the day, we all have the same intent. We love the team. We love the team. We like the team. We want to see the team do well. And so we talk about things based on the facts. And we try to be as objective as we can. Now, one thing about me, I don't get swept up in a lot of the emotional stuff. I just don't do that. I'm just kind of looking at things at face value, and I'm like, okay, it is what it is at this point. Just like with Osa Odighizuwa. Osa Odighizuwa is now old news. It's old news now. He signed. So now all he got to do is prove it. Same thing with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott now deal starts this year. Let's see Dak get back to being who we know Dak can be. Skull. Man, I would love them to bring in Clowney. I would love for them to bring in Clowney for sure. Chanel. Yeah, Chanel, yeah. Like I said, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it because I'm pretty sure he's not talking. I don't know. I would just assume he's not talking to me. Like I said, me and him are cool. Me and AOC are very cool behind the scenes. Gary McKnight said, I think the Cowboys signing Osa is a sign that they know they can still free up enough cap space to be players in free agency. Gary McKnight, man, I'm telling you, the deal is very team friendly. Very team friendly, so I like it. I do. Washington way better than Dallas currently. Skull, stop. I can't wait till you eat those words this year. I cannot wait for you to eat those words. Lewis Bailey, if D-Law wants the max, then he needs to go. Man, D-Law has gotten paid $127 million by the Cowboys. D-Law better be up in here talking about team-friendly deals for sure. Scholar, no, stop it. No, stop it. Chanel AOC said also Osa is not worth $20 million per season, though I'm not a podcaster. Yeah, I thought he said the same thing. But again, Chanel, one thing I'm not gonna do, and I've talked to AOC. Me and him talked about this. Man, I'm not bringing any kind of bad light on any other podcast. I'm just not gonna do that. Because one thing I know, you guys all, you all seem to enjoy all the content. And the good thing about it is, in the way we all bring content, you can take it all in and you can dissect out the parts that you like and you don't like. So it is what it is, man. I appreciate everything AOC does over there. I think he's been a great addition to this community way before me. Man, I think he's been a great addition. And all these guys, everybody that does this does great, in my opinion. Royals Cowboys said, I ain't never going to put another man down. Oh, boy, you with me. All I'm going to do is ever talk about other content creators myself and build them up. Give them a shout out. That's it. We need to support each other and not bait. That's it. We all telling the same story. I love it. They're just doing it in different ways. Skull Unknown. They got Wagner and Lattimore. Skull Unknown, boy, I cannot wait till we just smoke y'all this year. Taco said Osa 4.5 sacks is not even Chauncey Golson's 5.5. Should have paid Chauncey. Lee Time, $20 million, make the man like 14th in pay scale. The man worth more than that. You know what, though? If we're talking about Osa Odighizuwa, let me tell you something. I love the way they both did this deal. They both did this deal to where they both can walk away and Osa Odighizuwa will still be in his prime. I love the way both of them did this deal. I absolutely love it. I do. Troy Deli, I would try to buy a defensive tackle. They take so long to develop. I know, man. I didn't realize this. I'll be honest with you. I never realized how long this takes. We take it for granted. We do. That's why I would make sure, if I'm the Cowboys, sign Osa Odighizuwa, get one in free agency, get you one in the draft. And I say even get you two on the back end if you can. Skull said, I guess Maxie Smith is washed. Eagles stole all those linemen. No, Eagles did a great job. Top Gunner said, "Why talk money when that's your oof?" Say it, Top Gunner. Say it. But he had a purpose in doing what he did, and that's why he did it. And it's a shame. It's a shame. It is. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you. We're going to get back at it sometime tomorrow. I typically don't do Wednesday, but I'm going to try to get back at it tomorrow because, man, I'm telling you, there may be more news shaking down about the Cowboys. There just may be more news. I am not going to be surprised if they next sign Micah Parsons. They've already had a couple of smaller signings already. Maybe I'll do some smaller videos about that, but I'll be back tomorrow so we can sum up some of the other signings tomorrow. And then I'm anticipating by Friday that we may be seeing Micah Parsons get an extension, and we'll see what all the Cowboy fans say. Nisi said, G, you need to check out the ladies Craven Cowboys and Stargazer Sports. Now, I have checked out Stargazer. We're friends on X. And I've commented on a couple of her things. Craven Cowboys. Okay, I'll check out Craven Cowboys. Nisi, some of you ladies now, y'all good enough to do this. I don't know why y'all playing. I don't know why y'all playing. Y'all could easily be doing this. Lewis Bailey said Micah Parsons said it because he talked. Yeah, I love it. Man, Royal said we definitely going to be active. I told it seems like the consistency is so far. Hopefully it keeps up. Yeah, I like what we're doing. Good night, y'all. Yes, sir. I'm with you. All right, guys. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.